live. Hi, everybody.
Hi.
Welcome back to Universe Fallout. Only the fifth one we've done because we didn't do one of these going from season 1 to season 2 because nobody knew who we were at that point.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're here. Ray's here. I'm here. The season 6 award voting is filling up as we speak.
And also, so we're going to be live for probably like an hour, I'd say.
An hour or two, probably. Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
It
So-
usually goes anywhere between an hour to 2 hours on these streams.
Yeah. So what we're going to do is probably in like 45 minutes, we will close the polls.
Yep.
We'll be tabulating the results in case you people haven't filled out your ballots.
Yep. Be sure to go fill
Zander,
it.
Zander, this is actually one of the few things where, like, Zander and I, we list the nominees, but we pretty much give you most of the high points of the season we can think of.
Yeah, pretty much.
And then him and I, we just get one vote each. So it is a truly democratic system. Him and I only get one vote apiece in this.
Yeah, no, I don't
We
go in
don't
there.
tell each other what we voted for.
Yeah, like,
So
and weirdly enough, this season I think I voted for more stuff you did than stuff I did.
well, thank you.
Well, yeah, like for spoilers, for example, I voted Shawn Michaels as GM of the year, for example.
I feel like that's almost to be expected though, because he was just I don't know. I like Big E as the GM,
Yeah, I do too.
but and I hate saying it like this because it's almost like the issue of doing Big E. Like, I'm allowed as Shawn Michaels, doing my impersonation of Shawn Michaels, to do some ridiculous things.
Yeah.
Just ridiculous, and have him be a total buffoon. And because him and I share the same race, no issues are going to come up with me portraying Shawn as a buffoon.
Right, of course.
Yeah. But it's like, whenever you're white and you start voicing a different race, you have to be very careful.
Yeah, you walk a very fine line there, yeah.
Yeah. And and it's also really hard because there's some people where it's like, how do you impersonate them?
Right.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Jey Uso struggled to impersonate because it's not a kind of voice or structure of sentence I can do very naturally.
Yeah.
I am too much of the Caucasian persuasion for it.
Eh. Oh man, but yeah, so
I don't watch meat. Apparently that's a thing. I don't know.
But yeah, I've actually already started working on tomorrow's episode of Raw, which I know already started working on tomorrow is a wild sentence to say when it is less than 24 hours away, but once we finish up on stream here, I gotta finish up Raw for tomorrow.
Yeah.
So that'll be fun. But yeah, no, quite a season to say the least. But I'm sure we're gonna go through and talk about we're not gonna beat for beat the last 53 weeks of Universe, obviously, but hit some of the highlights, some of our favorite stuff. So we'll start with you, I guess, Ray. I mean, this was your first season taking over a WWE show.
It was. And here's and I thought about this. I would be because I was thinking about what we're going to talk about on stream.
Yeah.
I was thinking here, what would be interesting to talk about because of us doing the 2 separate shows for the entire season, this being the first time we've done that. I feel like it'd be interesting for me to say everything, my favorite stuff that he did, and him to say everything, all the favorite stuff that I did.
Well, funny enough, Zach literally just asked us that.
Yeah.
Almost word for word.
It makes sense to talk about because because this is where I think the season really became our most unique season.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Is because SmackDown and Raw became such different shows.
Yeah.
is because there are very different views of how wrestling should be. Um,
See segment that happened in the middle of the show that caused a legitimate fight today.
guys, we aren't going to talk about that
We won't
today.
delve into that one. We'll talk about the segment. We won't talk about what it looked like behind the scenes. Maybe tomorrow I'll talk about it, but no, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Yeah,
Um,
that's not.
no,
I
I'm
don't
kidding.
like I don't like some of our conflicts and the
No,
but
I'm kidding when I say that. You know that. But no, I guess, well, if you want me to, I'll start with my favorite things.
Fournette again. I'm like, you're not in front of the boys. God damn it! We present the united front.
All right, but yeah, if you want me to talk about my favorite stuff you did this season, I guess I can start.
Or talk about my favorite stuff that you did. We can do either one.
Let's see. I mean, it was a pretty 50-50 season of producing this year. It's the first time it's ever been that close to 50-50.
Yeah.
And then, of course, I'm adding fucking TNA back in because I'm a glutton for punishment. So, like, no one asked me to.
And that was the thing. Like, and the funny thing was, like, honestly, I was, when I gave you AEW, I was like, get ready for basically AEW to get taken over by ZNA, just called AEW now.
Like, it's just stayed pretty faithful to AEW.
It stayed pretty there. Like you waited until like the last 2 months to really start making the deviations.
Yeah, and I haven't even really done much there, but yeah, for you, I guess with I'll start with SmackDown, and then I'll talk about NXT, and I'll touch a little. I didn't see much of. There wasn't much for AEW to talk about this season because there just wasn't much because we swapped around the halfway point in the season, I think.
Yeah.
And AEW had kind of been on and off at the start of the season anyway, but
Yeah.
like the MJF and Swerve stuff was really fun in Ray EW, and I was fortunate enough to be able to do the ending of that feud when I jumped in. But
Yeah,
like that,
and the funny thing is now, like, and I'm not saying let's switch back because I'm definitely not saying that. But
right.
like, if I had stayed on another 2 months and seen what they've done, I don't think I would have given it to you.
Yeah,
I really don't think so. I think I'd still be doing AEW now because right now I'm enjoying the product again.
Yeah.
And like, granted, some of the problems are still there.
Oh yeah.
The Bucks. Anyway.
Yeah. And I get that. I'm having fun doing it. It's weird. I'm in like this weird mind state now where I'm like, if Ray asked to swap NXT and AEW back again, would I let him? I'm like, on one hand, I'd love to be back in charge of developmental because like that's my one gripe I've had with giving you NXT is it's like the transition of getting people to main roster is a little muddy for me now because now I'm like, okay, is Ray doing something with this guy? I don't know. Like we had this the other day where I'll be flat out like honest about it where I was like there was a miscommunication where like, hey Ray, I have a pitch for this person if you're not going to use them. Here's a pitch for if you use them or a pitch for if they could go to Raw. And the way I worded it came off a little weird. Okay, that's fine. I misread that as yeah, take him to Raw. And I was wrong.
In that text. Well, also here's the thing. Like I skimmed the text because I was at work. And what happened was you would ask me 2 questions in succession.
Yes.
So what happened was you had recorded the Luna Battle Royal, and
yes.
someone was in it who wasn't supposed to be in it, and you didn't realize. And you're like, okay, I need to swap this person out. Anyone do you have? And on the very next text, you mention that person. So I just deduced that you were asking to put that person in that person's place in the Battle Royal.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, that's fine.
Yeah, and then I misread that. So that one was on me. That was just a little miscommunication.
That's just not really reading text well. Yeah,
a little bit.
Yeah, but also like I also know like and like you that like there is a lot of people transitioning out of NXT, a lot of people transitioning into NXT, and it's like one of these things where I'm also having to really keep in mind and just kind of breaking the wall a little bit of like how I'm booking it right now. It's this weird thing. It's this weird mind trip because like I'm visioning it. I'm having a hard time not booking it the way I booked NXT in the past.
Right, more developmental, less like a brand.
Yeah, like I'm like this isn't that promotion though. I'm like I don't want to have a bunch of 40-year-olds out there wrestling on the developmental show.
Yeah,
So,
makes sense.
like, as much as they stand to deliver, that they had a lot of older guys on it. That's actually why I kind of chose to make Kalani and Soul the main event. Was
Yeah,
I was like, at least
otherwise
they,
you've got nearly 40-year-old Joe Hendry and over 50-year-old Ron Killings.
yeah. Or the other option was nearly 40 Ethan Page and over 40 Josh Alexander.
Correct.
Yeah.
But yeah, no. So just kind of bring it back, like with AEW, with Ray EW when it was still around. I like the Swerve and Osprey or the Swerve and MJF stuff. I liked the rise of Osprey to the AEW title. I liked All in London just as a whole a lot on that one.
I think the thing you really liked, because you kept up with it for so long and still are, was, and this was something that, like, funny thing is, when you gave me your AEW, I told you I was going to do this, and it stayed. I was like Anna Jay. Anna
Yeah.
Jay is going to be the top woman, and I'm going to build her up over a long period of time with a dominant champion for her to beat. And All in London, she beat Mercedes Moné.
Yep.
And that's kind of why I was like, that's also why I didn't have really much of a problem handing you AEW, because I was like, All in London has everything I wanted for the conclusion of what I was doing. I mean, Grant, was I still planting seeds for what was going to come in the future? Yes, Jack Perry and Jeff Jarrett and their weird match.
We saw what I did to that.
Huh?
As if we saw what I did to that. Jack Perry got squashed by Samoa Joe and wasn't seen again until yesterday.
Yeah, I'm like, I've agreed, but honestly, that was one of my favorite matches to build to in AEW, because it was such a weird thing. It was basically like Jeff Jarrett bit her old man, like, they got kids.
So dumb. It was great though. Let's see, but like with NXT, since you took over NXT, which it was a really weird transitionary period for me with that one, because there was like 3 weeks where I was doing both. Like I was doing Raw, NXT. Well, because I wanted to see out Deadline the same way you saw All In. I was like, I want to see this out to the end. I want to finish NXT my way. And like, I think only one result got changed overall with that, and that was that Joe Hendry won back the NXT title. Had I been doing NXT for a while, Buddy would have held the NXT title until pretty recently, actually. Was the original.
Well, that was also, and what's the idea? Like the idea of Buddy being champion, but like, it was also the issue of that story that you were planning to tell would have had Raw and NXT overlapping a lot.
And that was how I did NXT, was there was a lot of Raw overlap.
Yeah. Whereas I'm not saying there's never going to be SmackDown overlap or even Raw overlap. I'm open for that in the future. Like, but like, it was like, you guys, I think, are going to see like what's kind of the plan for NXT, like what I want to be doing with it. I mean, Ron Killings and that whole thing was a very new development for me. Because he got unexpectedly super over right before I did a heel turn I've been planning to do for a long time.
Like, we've joked that like Ray finally has his finger on the pulse of something and is striking while it's hot in real life. Doesn't happen often, don't get used to it. I say it out of love, of course.
I like doing my thing.
I know. But yeah, no. But yeah, other things I really liked, I really liked what you've done with Ron Killings. This is not how I would have done it if I turned him heel, but I like what you've done more. And then over on SmackDown, like, you hit the ground running with SmackDown. Like, everyone feels big on SmackDown. Like, I looked at the roster when I was planning out segments, because as people know, I'm kind of the one that does the segments for WrestleMania. I'm the one that kind of tries to squeeze everyone that's missing from the card onto the card in some way. But like, everyone felt so important heading into SmackDown or into WrestleMania this year that like 3 people from SmackDown's men's division missed WrestleMania, and that was it.
Yeah.
And it was Apollo. Okay, it was 4. It was Apollo, Los Garza, and Jonathan Gresham, and that was it.
Yeah.
And some of the tag division as well, because apparently and I'm realizing this now, never put Motor City Machine Guns on the internal roster. Whoops.
Yeah.
Hold on.
And honestly, like there was also a part of me that was like really like, should I book another tag team feud because I've like done a lot of stuff with the tag teams this year.
Yeah.
Kind of decided not
Eh.
to.
Well, yeah, no. I had
Uh,
originally I couldn't get the names all ironed out for it. What was the 8-man tag match today with the LWN Santino against the D'Angelos and Solo, which is just a weird combination all around, but it was fun. My original
well,
pitch for that.
well, also, and I meant to like kind of like remind you of this. Like, there's also history in the fact that they were both paid by The Rock, so they
Oh
have that,
yeah,
by this past season.
yeah. I would have put that in the notes for Arnold, JT, and Tatum, but I forgot.
You
Um,
know.
But I like, for example, another thing I really liked is the way you did the Rock, because like a lot of people know, Rock and Jay was my end game, but Ray had both of them on the roster by virtue of Jay won the U.S. title at the end of last season. Before we really knew for sure Ray was going to take SmackDown, it was like, well, I've got to give up one of these pet project mid card champions. I'm a lot more attached to Nathan Frazier, so I'm going to trust you with the Jay and Rock stuff, and you did it better than I would have. So
Well, also, like I saw, and like this is the other thing, and I'm not saying you don't think about this stuff because you do. But I had kind of had this idea for a long time about what The Rock, like what I would want to do with him as the final boss,
yeah,
which is he is the most insecure man on earth. Probably more similar to real life than he wants to admit.
yeah,
Um, because, and I'm not saying this like oh I'm like I understand I'm an out of shape person. I'm not trying to get down on him, but like it is like psychologically proven that like a lot of those people who get like obscenely obsessed with fitness and look like The Rock does often have a lot of insecurity, like a lot of those kind of, and like
yeah.
it was this thing I was just thinking about. I was like, it's like I styled him off Kingpin.
Oh,
It
that's
was
good.
Marvel,
That's good. I
it was
see it now.
Marvel Kingpin the entire season, and like, and don't get me wrong, like here's the thing, I liked, like, honestly, I kind of had this weird thing where each thing I did with The Rock, I kind of liked a little less. I liked the J Rock match. Don't get me wrong,
Yeah,
but my favorite feud I did with him was Drew, just because of
the
the
Drew one.
concert and the build and like.
Oh, that didn't get put in the. Wait, did that get put in?
It was in the. It was in. It was in the. It was in
Okay,
there
good.
because I voted for it.
I was trying to
I,
remember if that was in there because I just.
it was in there because I voted for it for funniest moment of the
Yeah.
year.
Everybody knows you were gay for Heath Slater. That shit had me dying, dude. Like, 'cause you didn't tell me anything that was going to be in that concert. You just asked me for the footage of Rock playing the guitar from
Yeah,
22. And I was like, yeah, I got you. Sent you
yeah.
that. That night SmackDown premieres, and I am fucking wheezing watching it. To the point where, like, a few weeks later, I knew I was doing the higher concert with Joe Hendry, which was what my vote was. And I was like, oh my god, how am I going to top this? And so I threw a stray at myself in there about
Yeah,
Buddy Murphy taking me to a cold shower stall.
and the funny thing is, this the one thing you didn't nominate, and I didn't tell you to add it because I don't think it would have won anyway, so it's not a big deal. But I also would have put my one Hendry song I did,
Oh,
um,
yeah.
Jake something I'm giving up on you.
I forgot about that one. Much like
Because
Jake
everyone,
something.
no, because also like everyone was commenting, why is Ray actually really good at singing in this
Right.
part?
And I was like, yeah, thanks, guys. Anytime I do a cover, people are like, oh, that was great. Then Ray does a song, and everyone's like, oh my god, there's actually a good singer out of the two of you? Fuck you. Fuck you, theater kid. I was a theater kid in college, I guess. But anyways,
Yeah,
yeah,
I
no,
never got a leading role in a musical though.
that's true.
I never got one. I got some leading roles in some plays, but never a musical.
But yeah, but anyway, long story short, I guess to give you a couple of my other favorites, so I'm not just hitting like three highlights. I kind of complimented it already, but it felt kind of like with you with SmackDown,
Mhm.
everyone had something to do all season, and that's not something I could say about myself with Raw.
Well, it wasn't even that everyone had something to do. It was just that I wanted like when I took over SmackDown, like you said, I wanted I want people to feel more important. And like this is kind of like when I was shaping the roster
Yeah.
and going through the list. And I learned this, and you saw the clip with I showed you the clip from Cornette, and I learned this from him. Try to make sure that every single member of your roster has something unique about him that is only unique to him on that specific roster.
Yeah.
And like you were talking about with the like you were saying the other day when Cornette was going through the AEW roster, he kept like he let go of a lot of the luchadors, but kept Bandito because if there's like 10, 15 luchadors on an American card, like as much as I love luchador wrestling, and like now people are getting into luchador wrestling, like in an American promotion, like a bunch of luchadors on the card, they're unfortunately because of xenophobia, but it still is what it is like that they're going to be like, oh, they're all the same kind of gimmick and not really learn the differences between masked wrestlers. There's just the masked wrestler. Right. So, that was something I really kind of paid attention to. So like I was like and also I will say I made efforts to get everyone on the card. And there's a few people who I wanted to book better and I didn't.
Okay.
Lexus King is one of them. I want to do more with Lexus King this season to actually make him more of a main event heel than he turned out to be.
Yeah.
I want Lexus King to be a lot more elevated than he turned out being this past season. And that's kind of because there was a lot of other people who started kind of going up the ladder, so to speak, in terms of they were getting more over.
Oh yeah, we had a lot of those.
And I suppose we'll talk about this when we talk about Mania, with the whole thing with Drew McIntyre.
Oh,
Just being the spanner in the entire plan for SmackDown, because my plan was pretty basic starting out this season of Punk will hold the title the entire season. Cody will win the Rumble. We're going to do a classic good guy, classic bad guy, and good will win and Cody will win the belt.
And then Drew happened.
And then Drew McIntyre came in and got really, really over because he called John Cena something you really shouldn't say, but I said it.
That's the summary of you as a person, though. Like, shouldn't say it, but he does.
Have you seen the clips from that Shane Gillis show, Tires?
No, I can't say I have.
There's a clip where he's like, where he asks someone something, and the answer would be like, would be like a minority, and he's like, "What do you think about this?" Well, never mind. He was actually going to say it. Okay.
Brilliant. But yeah, so I guess, and then with NXT, so just to kind of highlight what I really liked about NXT, and this I feel like you might, I hope you'll take it this way. This might be like one of the highest compliments I pay you for stuff you've done. NXT, you literally took a show that had been ripped apart, and like my love for it was getting sucked dry because of all the releases, and just felt like it had become the island of misfit toys because I'd had to merge it with TNA. And to an extent, NXT kind of got mistreated by me a little bit at the end because I was almost bitter that it got taken away, or that TNA got taken away. Not by anyone but me, but that TNA had to go away because so much shit had gone wrong in the wrestling world in like the 6 months since I had really gotten into my true groove with NXT. And you just kind of took what had been like a gutted and destroyed wasteland of NXT, where I was having to do all the crossover with Raw and stuff to make it stay afloat, and you made it like actually really good developmental that people were actually interested in every week. Like you took it right at
it wasn't even that. It wasn't. I wouldn't even say that. I don't even think you were cutting it. Because like honestly, there was a lot of stuff that was still there that I think was good, but I could see that and also I will say that like you had plans for what you were going to do, and I was keeping up with those plans.
Yeah, you did.
And then R-Truth and then Ron Killings happened. There was a conclusion building to NXT that you had in mind that I was going to do, and then Ron Killings changed that. So yeah. I wouldn't even say that, but I think what it was I wanted a smaller show, something that felt more like the studio wrestling that I had been watching.
Yeah.
I've been watching a lot of old studio wrestling. So I just brought people in, and it literally just if you watch the first weeks of NXT, it's literally just that me continuously. It's like new person comes in, new person comes in, new person comes in, new person comes in. It's like I just filled in what I could, the roster, and then kept some of the other things. And also, I liked a lot of the TNA guys you had on there. I use some of them as enhancement talent, but I still like them.
Right.
Steve Macklin.
Yeah, I like Steve Macklin. It's like, I'm doing the relaunch of TNA, and it's like, I'm sure a lot of people are like, well, why is Steve Macklin not on this? Why didn't Xander ask for Steve Macklin back? Or why didn't Xander get Steve Macklin back? Xander didn't ask for Steve Macklin back. That's why. That's why he didn't get him. Because I was like, well, I don't think I'm going to do much with him, if I'm honest. So he might be better off on the next day.
And also, I feel like a lot of people, I don't want you out spoilers for what you have coming, but I feel like a lot of people are going to start seeing why you weren't asking for certain people off the roster when they see who you do get. So
right, correct. Especially because you guys are about to see you guys are about to see what quite honestly might be my magnum opus with this channel.
Yeah.
If LS11 Universe came to an end, and I'm not saying it's going to, if LS11 Universe came to an end after this story that's about to start, and you guys will know it when it starts, if LS11 Universe ended after this story, I could go out with a smile on it.
Yeah, I see what you're talking about. I know what you're talking about, and I see what you're talking about there, because it's almost as if the whole series kind of came full circle in that moment we're doing the story.
Yeah, and Zach asked what magnum opus is. Essentially, it's just my greatest work, my life's work is the best way. This is going to be my greatest story.
I actually got into a talk about some of it. What's a magnum opus?
Yeah.
A magnum opus is when the height of your ambition meets the ability for you to tell it.
Yeah.
And so that's not always your biggest work, right? So for example, I was thinking about this. I was talking with my movie friend about this, and he was talking about people's magnum opuses, and I think easily, he was saying I was wrong. I think easily Martin Scorsese's magnum opus is a movie called Silence.
Yeah,
which no one has seen. Martin Scorsese has directed some of the greatest films of all time, which everyone has seen, like Goodfellas, Casino, The Departed. The Departed. Are you a cop? I'm not a cop.
But yeah, I guess ultimately that's my big things with each of your shows. So I guess I will kind of turn the floor to you about, as cocky as it makes me feel to say it out loud, about so what are some of your favorite things from Raw, the Indies, briefly TNA, my half of NXT, and my run with AEW this season, I guess.
Okay, so Raw, I'm hitting the big stuff first.
Yeah.
I'll hit the big stuff first. Rhea Ripley this season. Her because she had a really odd season 5, very purposefully.
Yeah.
Kind of a very odd season 5 because she had been at such a position of prominence for the previous 2 seasons before that but now she re-entered the main event scene, and she's done it in such a way where I think Rhea Ripley's at the height of her booking, and I know I'm gonna make this joke here. It's like if like because it's like they're both like just like our guys, our people.
Mhm.
It's like if Gunther shows up on one of Sanders' shows, you bet your ass Rhea's showing up on Ray's next show. It's like that's
Right.
the trade that has happened. Where it's like you take my heart to take yours, brother.
Yeah, like Rhea is going to, like I've mentioned before that like I guess minor spoilers. Yeah, Rhea and Gunther are getting swapped in the draft this year.
No, they're not.
Like,
That's what I was trying to say. I was because they're not like I don't feel like anyone's going to be shocked at the revelation that Rhea Ripley is not going to SmackDown. I feel
like, and that's the thing is like I feel like maybe just maybe one day it
he'll
will happen.
do it just almost out of pure spite. It's like, you know what? Here.
And like it's gonna be one of the hardest people for me to give up. I went a whole 3/4 of the season without Seth Rollins, who many know was like my first favorite wrestler. I was willing to go 3/4 of the season without Seth Rollins, and it worked out pretty well.
Well, originally, like the funny thing is, originally you were fine going the whole season without Seth Rollins.
Yeah,
Seth was going to stay on SmackDown, still be there now. But but you were like, you said there was a story to tell, and I also kind of said at one point where it's like Nathan's leaving, and I'm like, I know we gotta wrap up this story with him and Nathan, and so I kept him because I was like, it will keep him on TV, and also it was the looking back, I almost wish I'd done it for SummerSlam.
Mm-hmm.
But they had an incredible match anyway. The moment that like I'm like the whole thing, this whole thing is all building to Seth Rollins versus CM Punk.
Yeah.
Because like I'm now putting Seth in a position where like he has dominion over Punk, and so that's that was also there. But so I liked Rhea Ripley, Tiffany Stratton, obviously, but both of them as just rivals. I really like that. Obviously Karrion Kross and Nathan Frazier and their whole storyline, their big grand storyline where Kross is now kind of finally in a full form, so to speak.
Yeah.
Bronson Reed. I liked what you do with Bronson Reed. Because you love your big men. I love my big men, but you really love your big men.
I sure do, big trucks and all.
So Bronson Reed, seeing him like really probably get that dominant streak and really have that, and I'll say like you were also very receptive to my ideas that I would give you for all. Well, of course, provided they were good ideas.
Yeah, like I think a lot of people don't know this. Tiffany and Rhea wasn't my idea.
Yeah. Well, also like it wasn't your idea, but I think you would have done it.
What's so weird is that was what I was trying to avoid. I was like, okay, I was putting myself in this box so much. I was like, Rhea can't be the solution to this, right? Like Tiffany's gonna have to suffer her first loss eventually. I can't just break Rhea in case of emergency, right? And then that ended up being like the best option.
Well, also I was like, it wasn't even break Rhea in case of emergency. It was, I hate saying it like this because I don't want to use a derogatory term. It's because I saw how Tiffany was building up, how people reacted to her, how you were booking her, how she was presented. And I was sitting here, I'm like, people are just thinking to themselves every single week, this fucking bitch.
Yeah, pretty much. That's the idea.
every single week is this bitch. Like, and it progressed. So you send in mommy because everyone loves mommy. Everyone loves her, and everyone will want to see her kick their ass. I'm like, and that's kind of the thing that I was. That's kind of thing I feel like we've both learned booking this, where it's like because, and I know a lot of people are going to disagree with me. I don't think fans are as good at knowing what they want as they think they do.
I kind of get what you mean. Yeah, no, I get what you mean.
Because I feel like a fan's mindset is always towards the next thing.
Yeah.
Right? Like, not like, okay, let's run it back. Let's not have someone else who won the belt before. They always want someone who's never been champion before to be the next champion. They always want the rise of the next superstar.
Right.
And that's understandable. Like, you know, like, and UFC has that very same mindset where people are always looking for the next blockbuster star. But I'm like, if you have one and she's in her prime already and she ain't going anywhere and everyone loves her anyway, why not? Like,
yeah, no, you're
you
right.
save yourself the trouble. Like, why have the trouble of making everyone love somebody when you already have someone they already are predisposed to love?
Right, exactly. And I was in that mindset of I was like, I have to build up someone new to beat Tiffany, right? And that was the mindset I was in. And then you came to me with that mindset and like, excuse me. I look at the roster now and I'm like, who would I have built up? At one point in time, admittedly, Ivy Nile was considered for it. But then it was like, no, this whole Team Gable thing is going to get really over. She needs to go to SmackDown. So I think she was one of those that I just kind of gave you to SmackDown because like you had lost a bunch of people.
There was like a point, like a few months into the season, where I had really, when I first took over SmackDown, I was super focused on a few things. Getting a good tag team division.
Yes.
Because I love tag teams, and I just wanted to make sure I booked the best tag team division I could because I love tag team wrestling. Getting a good mid card, making sure securing a unique identity for the cruiserweights, and of course developing the main event. I neglected the female roster side, and I was missing a lot of. Like, I wasn't even missing a lot of blockbuster names. I just had too many names that were too similar to each other to really make the roster stand out. I was like, because I'm remembering early on, like I had Alba, Becky, Blair. I was like, yeah, all these all these European talents. Like, granted, are great talents, and you could do stuff with them together. But like at that point, it had been done. You had done a lot of stuff with them.
Yeah.
So like, and it wasn't like it wasn't a Rhea situation where they were all so over. I mean, Becky was, but that's about it. That and also, and now it's kind of. I'm gonna be honest. I'm not made this to you because it's not your fault.
Mm-hmm.
So when I booked Blair Davenport as a top heel, no one's into it at all. But Bullet Babe B. Priestley, everyone all of a sudden loves.
Right. Okay. And I found that weird too.
I was like, no one could give a shit when she was the top heel on SmackDown. Literally, the 2 pay-per-views I did with her as champion, when she was wrestling, the live viewers, the concurrent watchers, fucking nosedived. Everyone went to take a piss. Like,
right. And now she's like the most over part of Bullet Club. Without saying a single word.
And everyone's like, oh yeah, it should be Anna Jay. Like, where was this synergy when I was doing the Alba Blair feud?
Right? Yeah, no, that has been one of my favorite people to book in AEW. But yeah, no, I do appreciate that with Raw though. Not to distract. I guess I'll turn to AEW. You got anything you really enjoyed since I took over AEW?
From what I've seen, because I don't watch too much of it, I like what you did with Cult of the White Witch, because that was something I just did. Like, I didn't have much thought behind it or consideration when I booked it together, because like Alistair had hit, or Malachi had his previously established group. And I wanted to put Julia Hart in the face of it, and I was like, what if I just clad them all in white and I do, because she looks so much like Stevie Nicks. This is literally what it was.
Mm-hmm.
You want to know what it is legitimately?
Okay.
Where I got it. So everyone calls Julia Hart the wrestling Stevie Nicks.
Okay.
And Stevie Nicks has a ton of imagery referring to her as the White Witch. Has literally a part in a season of American Horror Story where she plays a White Witch. So I was like, fuck it, Julia Hart's the White Witch of wrestling. Like,
there you go.
But like I remember putting them together, and you were immediately super into the group. Like you were like, yeah, like you're like,
once Darby was out of it, I was into it.
Yeah. Well, no, like that's what I mean when Cult of the White Witch happened, because Cult of the White Witch was when Darby
when Brody
left.
took over. Yeah.
That's what happened when Darby left. And I don't know why I turned Darby heel. I don't know why I did that.
It seemed like a good idea on paper. Like, I can't argue with that.
I will say, like, I had an idea when I first took over AEW 2 years ago.
Yeah.
That like, if the person in question was the way he was then as he is now, I would have done it.
Okay.
And that's Jeff Hardy. Because Jeff is in a much better place now than he was 2 years ago.
Yeah.
So, but a couple of years ago on AEW, I was planning to do the full on like Antichrist Hardy.
Right.
I was going to have him win the AEW title and feud with Darby Allin for it.
I remember that, yeah.
And you were like, you're going to what?
I wasn't sold, but like I was like, all right, you know, I have not been sold on stuff that's become some of the most popular stuff we've done before, so I'll go for it.
What I still think, honestly, that probably would have. I think it would have gotten over because our fans love Jeff Hardy.
Oh
but,
yeah.
Also, we are now. Sorry.
You're good. You good?
Yeah, I'm subscribed to a page called No Context Cornet, and they send clips of Jim Cornette that sound hilarious as out of context.
Oh, gotcha.
And somehow someone asked him about the Hawk Tuah girl. And he was like, and he said, Jesus Christ, if women in the 80s know getting drunk and spitting on dicks could get you world famous, we'd have a lot better world now.
Oh man. Okay, so I guess in this little pause we have here before I ask any other of your favorite things here.
Also, but I wanted to say, because we're about 45 minutes into the show now, people, if you have not voted yet, vote now.
Yep, get your votes in. We've currently got 26 responses, so be sure it's the pinned message. If you're here and you haven't voted on the end of your awards, we're going to read them off at the end of stream here.
We're probably going to close the polling in like 15 minutes. So
I usually just close the poll right before we read it. So, but yeah, Zach asks real quick here: was Lexus King always John Cena's WrestleMania opponent, or if he wasn't, who was?
John Cena didn't have a WrestleMania opponent for a little bit. And that's kind of why I came up with the Lexus King feud.
Yeah,
I was finding for him someone to feud with, and I was going down the roster of people who I could use, and like I was like, no one really stood out. I was like, Sheamus, Ilya Dragunov would be a good match, but there's not like a lot of like there wouldn't be like something to draw on.
Right.
And I got to Lexus, I was like, if I just make it that he beats the shit, if Lexus just beats the shit out of John because he gets the jump on him, and just in the match, John just pulls a full Super Cena, that might work.
And it worked. It was like one of my favorite things for us to record because it was just so fun.
Well, also, like I feel like you like the idea. You're like, yay, old school Cena shit. He just beats the fuck out of two up and coming talents, and one never was talent.
Wow, I've
Oh,
never heard you turn on Sean Spears that quick.
I'm not trying to turn on Sean Spears. I love Sean Spears, but guy just never got used when he should have been.
No, you're right. Okay. I guess so. This is gonna be the harder ones to ask because the only other two things. I guess, did you have anything you really enjoyed out of my run with NXT I did at the start of the season?
Jimmy Uso, obviously. Jimmy
Well, yeah.
Uso was a big thing. Jimmy Uso was a big thing. I like the rise of Sol Roca. And I liked having her as champion so much I had to find a way to change it that like where I like it would be unexpected, but I wouldn't make her look bad.
Yeah.
Uh, also, like just kind of, and like here's the thing with Deadline. Like I was like, I'm gonna let Zander. While I did the Ricky Saint exchange, I'm like everything. Everything else. I'm gonna let him do.
Yep.
And I'm just going to deal with it when I get the show. And like, if I could have changed one more result, I probably would have had Zarya beat Sol Roca for the title.
Yeah.
But then she became North American champion after beating the fuck out of Carmen Petrovic.
Now, that little crash out on commentary today was great.
What I find funny is you had the crash out the day after Carmen won the belt back.
I feel like you did that because of my crash out, though. You did that so I'd look like a jackass the next day. He's pleading the fifth, folks.
No, no, honestly, it wasn't even that. Like for a while, I was like, I'm gonna keep Zarya as champion. I'm gonna keep Zarya as champion. And then I actually started watching like actually really like Carmen Petrovic and wanted to give her the belt back. So I was like, well, she's a face. We'll just do the classic overcome the heel story.
Yeah,
and then I was just, I'm gonna be honest. Well, their match was supposed to go like 5 more minutes, but I recorded it at 2:00 in the morning, and I had 3 more matches to go, and I was starting to see monkeys, so I chose.
Jesus. All right.
So I chose to just let the one KO remain. Otherwise, I was afraid the sleep deprivation would officially pull me in.
You know what? That's fair, I suppose. Yeah, like what was I gonna say on that regard? I cannot remember. Okay, well then my last one here, and you are allowed to abstain from this one because I know it is not your fucking thing with how I do it. Do you have anything you really enjoyed from the indies this year that I did? Because the indies was a new thing this season.
I was originally just gonna sit here like, I'm thinking like this, like, but in reality, I suppose here's the best compliment I'll give you. You found a use for Chris Jericho.
I did find a use for Chris Jericho. You're right. Take what you can get.
You managed to get a use from Jericho, and
it was by taking the win over you.
Yeah. And other than that, I'm sure what you have going on in Ring of Honor is great. I like Pac as Ring of Honor champion. That was cool. But
since I haven't done Ring of Honor in like 3 months, so you're good.
Yeah. No, but also, so That's what I'll let you say your favorite things you
Okay.
did on the
Okay.
end.
So the Indies was just like, okay, close enough. Welcome back, ZNA. Um,
No, because I honestly I didn't watch much of it, but I
no,
was
you're fine. It's not your thing. I get it. Like that's why I said you can abstain from answering. No, I'll talk about the Indies a little bit because I fucking loved the Indies, and then you and I will talk about our favorite things we did ourselves. That way we can talk about that. We'll answer some questions and that kind of stuff, and we'll go into the polls and everything. Which I will say right now, looking at the polls, there is a three-way tie for WWE Men's Superstar of the Year. So if someone wants to go in and that hasn't voted yet and make it a tiebreaker.
you could be the deciding vote.
You could also be the deciding vote on OMG Moment of the Year, the deciding vote on Promo of the Year.
Oh my
Um,
god, guys.
you could be the
The one
deciding
person
vote on. Let's see, what else? You could be the deciding vote on NXT Premium Live Event of the Year. There's a lot of ties going on. Anyways, so the Indies, right? I started the Indies this season.
could you imagine if like three people just heard that and they all went over there and they all voted just for everything to go up one vote? Like it's like
Right. Like, I'll be like, son of a bitch. But anyways, so yeah, the Indies, right? That was a new thing this season, right? I don't think I was doing them in season 5. If I was, it was the tail end of season 5.
well, also like the Indies was kind of a creation, and I say this now because I've season 7. You guys will get to see my version of the Indies,
Yeah.
and it's going to be a much different version of the Indies.
Oh yeah, we're both doing Indies in season 7. Hold on, I can't hear you. Still can't hear you. Hold on, Ray's gone mute somehow here, folks.
Okay,
Okay, now we can hear you.
there we go.
Weird.
You hear me?
Yep.
Okay. So I don't know why the blue snowball just decided not to recognize itself as a microphone. So I had to go quickly to the crappy webcam thing, get back to the blue snowball, and it worked immediately.
Ah, gotcha.
Thank God, because you guys do not want to hear the fucking horrible microphone that's on this webcam.
I've done a webcam microphone before. They're not great.
Yeah, you will hear the screeches of the inner circles of hell. So
Yeah, pretty much.
But so the indies, it was interesting because like the concept for the indies was kind of born out of the concept for the NWA World's title,
Yeah.
which was okay. This title is going to transcend promotions, go cross promotional. But if we only have two promotions, that's not really all that fun. So
Right.
we need more promotions. So TNA's coming back. That's going to have the NWA World Champion on it from time to time. Ring of Honor plan to have NWA World Champion on from time to time.
Yep.
NXT we had the NWA World Champion on, and now these indies were kind of because like the idea is that the indies and this is pretty much strictly to outside WWE talent.
Yeah.
If I mean that fits this category. But like it's like, okay, a lot of this talent works on multiple promotions themselves. So we can just book them on multiple promotions. And as long as we keep clear about the ones we have booked in massive storylines and try not to do anything that would jeopardize those, we can kind of keep these rosters like flowing and have more of a realistic feel to them. And so that's kind of where it came with LAW and all the other indies that have come since.
Yeah, and now at this point, LAW's gone, so now it's more like we actually are branching out and doing real indies. Are we allowed to talk about it now? Because like I've done, people know AAA is coming because of all the luchadors that got showcased.
Yeah, so you guys know AAA is coming. I'm overseeing that.
JT actually mentioned earlier that we need 2 developmentals. That's technically happening because I'm going to be taking over Evolve.
Yeah, which and like that was funny thing. You kept asking me like, "What's your plans for Evolve?" And I was like, "I told you could have it multiple times." And that was kind of like literally like because the second I got NXT, I was like, "All right, when we do indie, they'll let Xander do Evolve as an indie, so then he can have his own purple branded developmental. It's perfect for him."
It is perfect. I love purple. It's shocking I don't have
Yeah.
any tattoos that are purple, which I only have the one tattoo, but eventually I'll get more. Anyways, yeah, and then I'm doing DPW and GCW as people know, and those are my other two. And then I think you have one more, right?
Yeah, I have one more. And so this one's going to take a bit of explaining
Yep.
to explain what it is exactly. Um, so something that a lot of people like and that always did well. I will say these videos always did do well, shockingly, was when I would do New Japan videos.
Yep.
Um, People always liked when I did them, and I did do a lot of them. And because they're hard to book and they were kind of difficult to do. But these last couple of months, I've gotten really into Puro again. And I'm learning more about the modern roster. Not modern rosters, modern wrestlers in general. And so I was like, I would really like to do something with Puro.
Mm-hmm.
But my issue is I'm like, okay, I have a lot of guys probably can Noah, but not. And I have guys I like in Japan, and I have a couple of people I like in the indie version of All Japan that isn't really All Japan anymore. And I like guys in Dragon Gate. I like some guys in DDT. And so like I was like, dang, I was like, I like all these people in this promotion, but I don't want to do multiple Japanese promotions because I feel like that would kind of get confusing for a primarily North America / Western world focused channel.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, also, an indie. I'm not committing to this, but I would not be shocked if I get good at these two indies. I would not be shocked if you guys see me do a British indie or a UK indie.
Yeah, which I didn't. We do have a British indie title that you know we have, but I'm not gonna say it out loud. That way, people aren't like, "Oh, do it, do it, do it."
Yeah. So what's going to happen with Japan? I was like, I was talking to Xander about this, and I was like, I really just want to use all this talent. I really just want to like have my pick of the litter. And because Xander, he doesn't really get into Puro. He likes a few Japanese pro wrestlers, but he doesn't get like super into the Puro guys.
Right.
So I was like, so he's like, make the roster you want to have. And my favorite old promotion to watch Japanese wrestling is All Japan. When All Japan was the actual like top wrestling promotion. Yeah. Matoko Bob was better than Stephanie. I said it. Xander has no idea what any of those words mean other than Stephanie. Also, brief tangent because I feel like the audience will find this funny. In real life, All Japan, so Matoko Baba was Giant Baba's wife,
Mm-hmm.
and she was the president while he was the CEO of All Japan.
Yeah.
So everyone loved Baba, Giant Baba, and he was one of the most respected figures backstage, even though he was the top dog. Everyone loved Baba. People hated Matoko because she was the bad cop. She would give everyone the bad news.
Yeah.
So I'm visualizing literally imagine like Vince McMahon sitting in the locker room with the boys. Linda comes in. We're cutting your pay. How can she do this to us?
Yeah.
And that's basically what was happening in All Japan.
Brilliant.
Which I find fucking hilarious and stupid.
Oh, for fuck's sake. Whoever just voted made it a 4-way tie for Superstar of the Year instead of breaking the tie. But yeah, so Ray's got All Japan and AAA coming this year. I've got Evolve, GCW, and
Yo, yeah. So,
DPW.
like, to finish my announcement was
Oh, yeah,
I
of
was
course.
yeah, because you just went and said it. Like I was like, oh, okay.
Oh,
So
sorry, I thought you'd said it.
yeah, no, I said one of my favorite promotions to watch was All Japan. So what I'm going to do is because the current version of All Japan isn't really All Japan, it's more of an indie that was bought and rebranded All Japan. Um, I'm going to bring back kind of a more faithful version of the All Japan that was in the '90s with all of these great guys from Puro. And essentially, what I'm going to do is I'm going to to give you guys a little bit of like a preview of what's going to happen. Two of the IWGP championships will be making the jump over, and the belts will be recognized by All Japan as legitimate belts. But the organization that All Japan's going to hold to, other than the NWA World Championship, which every single indie holds itself to, is the NWA World Championship, they're going to have the GHC, the Global Honored Crown, which is what Noah uses because I just love that name.
Yeah.
Global Honored Crown. I'm like,
sick name.
That sounds pretty cool. Like, so, yeah, All Japan is coming.
Yeah.
Like a combination of every single promotion. That's why we call it All Japan.
And I can also say an indie announcement because TNA doesn't return until Emergence this weekend. There's not a TNA episode on Thursday.
Yeah.
But there will be an indie show on Thursday. And it is going to be the DPW tag, or not the DPW, the GCW Tag Team Extravaganza. What does that mean? What is the? Go ahead.
Also, I meant to talk about this with you today, and maybe we should say this for off stream. But I was thinking about this, like, because I saw a mod earlier that allowed you to do the underground match and take out all the people standing around the ring.
Okay.
So I was like, oh crap. Zander, you could do GCW Bloodsport.
Oh yeah, I did. I technically have done one already. But...
Yeah, but now you can actually properly do one.
True.
With the actual game wanting to cooperate with you instead of you having to play around a mod where the people did the best they could, but the game doesn't cooperate.
Yeah. Okay. So the GCW Tag Team Extravaganza, just to give people a quick update on this, and you guys are going to get to actively see me ask Ray permission to use two AAA talents. If he says no, I'm not going to use them, and there is no pressure.
Other than all these people watching you and judging you. If you say
no, if he says no, literally everyone knows I'm dropping this on you last second because I forgot to ask you. And if you don't want me to use it, it's fine. I've got an alternative. There's an alternative team on standby, so you're good.
Okay.
So, the GCW Tag Team Extravaganza is going to be a no-holds-barred tag team gauntlet match to crown GCW Tag Team Champions. Because that's a thing, apparently. I didn't know that. I thought they only had the one belt. I'm going to be so for real with you.
All right.
But the teams involved in the GCW Tag Team Extravaganza are the Outrunners.
All right.
Okay. Grizzled Young Vets.
Okay.
Blue Cane and Xander number 3. Yeah, I don't know how that one happened.
All right.
Matt Cardona and Maven. The duo of Jadam, JT Jason, and Tatum Lords, the commentary duo that teamed up with Carnal on commentary this morning. Rybaxel.
I laughed at that one because I was the one who suggested you put Maven with Cardona. I was like, why not?
Rybaxel, Ryback and Curtis Axel.
Is Curtis Axel still wrestling?
Nope, neither is Ryback though, so who fucking cares?
No, don't you mean the Ryback?
Yeah, the Ryback. So the Rybaxel. And this last team, Ray permitting from AAA, Psycho Clown and Pagano.
I mean, sure. I mean, that's not really who Psycho Clown is going to be tagging with in my version of AAA, but you can do that.
Okay, I thought they teamed up together in real life, so.
They do.
Okay. And fuck it, we'll throw in the alternative team as well. Iguanahausen, Danhausen, and Mr. Iguana.
So you were teaming me up to say no. That way you can be like, how's it?
Look, if you said no, I was gonna just put Iguanahausen in there anyway, and so
No, I just like you were like, he's gonna say no. So I'm gonna plan for Iguanahausen. Shit, he said yes.
Yeah, pretty much.
Iguanahausen.
But yeah, there you go. That's gonna be the GCW Tag Team Extravaganza this week. Anyways, let's see.
I like how your immediate reaction upon seeing any news that my comedic wrestler you like is pair them with Danhausen.
It's not wrong. I haven't done Henryhausen yet, though.
Yet.
Yeah, keyword yet. Like, not to spoil anything, I think we all know someone that's getting drafted to Raw tomorrow.
No, that's not.
Oh, you're muted again. Okay, you're back.
Nope, I'm not. Oh, there, that's fine.
Yep, you're good.
I hit the USB port.
Whoops.
Hiking up my leg onto my lap so I can sit like a proper English gentleman.
But yeah, I assume you were saying it's not a spoiler.
Not really, no. I mean, he punched a Raw superstar in the face and then beat him in a match.
Yeah, but like Carnold, Scott Steiner, Arnold, and Shaq beat up a Raw superstar, but they're not all joining the Raw roster.
Yeah, but you made sure I knew this. They didn't have a match.
No,
So,
they sure didn't. They sure didn't have a match. I made sure Ray knew
They
this.
didn't have a match. As short as it was a match.
Oh yeah, Miz and Hendry was a match. That's different. But yeah, no. So I guess we'll take a couple questions here, unless we want to go into talking about our favorite. We are collecting questions. So if people have asked questions and they're like, "Why haven't they been answered yet?" I'm collecting them. I've got them in a little tab on the side. We will answer them at the end.
People not in the chat at all because I'm not seeing anything. So I'm just.
No, they are. I'm so used to the last few years us forgetting to finish stories because we decided to answer questions in the middle. So we'll take some questions now, and then we'll each talk about our favorite things we did ourselves in the season. So we talk about each other's, and then we'll answer more questions. So we're gonna jump in. Latest question was from JT. So we'll end with that one. First one that's come through. There's not too many right now. We already answered the one about Cena and Lexis King. Zach asks about, because I think I mentioned it this week, that we pivoted from Lindsay Dorado to Wes Lee for WrestleMania for Dragon Lee.
Yes.
So he asked for a little elaboration on what happened there.
Quite simply, I thought of something I liked better.
I mean, I think, are we allowed to say it? Can we just say it? Because I think people know what you liked better.
What?
I mean, I don't want to say it out loud because if you don't want me to spoil that, I won't.
Okay, so you want me to talk about Ron Killings making the rise to NXT totally changed my plans for Wes Lee and made me call him up.
Yeah.
Well, there you go. I just talked about it. There you go.
Yeah, there you go.
Wes Lee was going to be the one to beat Hendry today.
Yep. That was my original plan, too.
Yeah. And which I know you were thinking about not doing that, too, at the time.
There was a point in time where I was thinking about double champion Obafemi, yeah.
But, so yeah, it was like kind of this place where I was like, okay, we've been building a story for Wes Lee, and this story is approaching a conclusion that it has to reach now. Something has to happen for Wes Lee now. Otherwise, this whole careful booking these last couple weeks are gonna kind of feel weird. So we have to think of something to do. And I put together Dragon Lee and Lindsay Dorado. I was just not really having a lot of people.
Yeah.
Lindsay is a big luchador. So he's a big deal luchador in Mexico. So if I put him and Dragon Lee together. It's not a big match, but at least it has like this whole thing of like, oh, these two great luchadors. What's gonna happen? Like,
Right.
um. So then I was like, Wesley, well, he's a cruiserweight, so I have that going. And so I was like, he's gonna come in, I'll beat Dragon Lee, and then I'm going to, because also that was also the thing of that, like, I also changed it because I very quickly saw that, like, one of the things I'm proudest of this season was the Cruiserweight Championship.
Oh, yeah.
And just, like, when I was able to do that belt, I really like how people engaged with it, how I booked it. I was really happy with it. And the thing was that, like, I feel like Lince Dorado would have been kind of this mark of like this like back to lower mid card status for the cruiserweights, like,
yeah,
and people who you don't care about are back there wrestling. It's no longer Ilya Dragunov and Dragon Lee and Chad Gable and like and Grayson Waller and all these bigger names that like really make up the scene now. It's Lince Dorado. So
yeah.
and I like Lince Dorado. But
I do too.
But like this was also the other thing. Like Lindsay was just part of that class of people who were brought into the Cruiserweight Classic and then brought up to the main roster immediately. And as a result, almost none of them are stars now.
Right, or have been released.
Yeah. Like, and that was also the thing. And like people talk about this, like we talk about this on a different video. That all like, but like, yeah, so there was just not a lot to do. And so I was like, Wes Lee is a big name right now.
Yep.
He keeps that prestige of the belt because he's a big name now. And also it gives him a springboard onto SmackDown as a top heel immediately.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so I was like, all the boxes are checking. Let's do that. And then with Ron, like, and that was also me saying, that was me making the active choice to be topical. Was right. Like, because I'm gonna be honest, a lot of me was thinking about doing what I usually do, which, and I'm not even saying this is the best strategy because there's been a lot of times where I don't regret doing this, but digging in my heel and sticking with my plan.
Right.
So I didn't do that, and I think people really liked it. I think people are going to like where this is going with R-Truth, or with Ron Killings rather.
I think so.
Because, and I'm not going to talk about it too much because I know a lot of the hardcore fans probably already can guess where it's going. So,
yeah, but yeah. That long story short answers the pivot question. What other questions did we have in that time? We've gotten a few more in this time, so we can kind of speed run them. JT asks about the Triple Crown. I assume that has something to do with the All Japan announcement.
you'll have to watch All Japan.
Fair enough. Let's see. Okay, JT asks me specifically, but it can go to both of us, and we'll just do like 2 matches each on this one. Xander, if you did Forbidden War 3 this year, what would you have wanted to do? Where would you have wanted it in the calendar? And what matches would you have liked to have done? So I think the big thing you and I talked about was if we had done a Forbidden War 3 this year, we didn't want it to be in that weird limbo between Survivor Series and the Rumble anymore.
Yeah.
I think we probably would have done it like early in the season, I'd have said. Like SummerSlam, like probably around the October, like September, October month. So right between Survivor Series, or between SummerSlam and Survivor Series is what I'd have said.
Yeah.
Just
you want to go first? I go first.
I'll give one, you give one, I'll give one, you give one. I've said before that the Forbidden War 3 match for me that never happened was Rhea Ripley versus Anna Jay.
Okay.
Because they were the final 2 in that gauntlet that Rhea won.
Yeah. So the one that immediately sprung to my mind was, and this is the one we were going to think about doing, Osprey and Rollins.
Yep. Osprey Rollins. Yep.
Yeah. Was something I wanted to do because Osprey as time and like now Xander's going in a different direction. I think you people are going to really like it. But if I had stayed with AEW, the plan basically was for like, and this is I don't think this is changing in Xander's version of AEW much at all. Osprey's the or one of the top guys.
Oh yeah, he's like the top face.
Yeah. And so, and he's really like, and that's the thing, like, I was always a fan of his, but I always kind of doubted his ability to be like, have a more mass appeal. But I will say, like, he's toned. It's not that he doesn't do the athletic stuff anymore, so he does it more sparingly in the match now. And so now it means more when he does it. So I think he's learned a lot. So that's my Osprey Rollins.
And then I'll say for my other one, just coming up with one off the top of my head, and I'll admit this one because this was going to be the first ever WCW title match when that almost happened. Bronson Reed, Brody King. That would be my other one. Because there wasn't much fleshed out for WCW, but those two being the two top monsters was like the big thing.
Yeah. Huh. I don't want to give. Well, that might be happening now. So that one. Ooh. Okay, so the one I was thinking of was a bit more out there.
Okay.
Which was I keep having a certain name, and I'm like, that doesn't work.
Okay.
That doesn't work for me. Nope. So what I will say is I thought it would be interesting to do something with Omega and Orton at one point.
Oh, that would be cool. But that happened in the World Cup, actually.
Having the World Cup. And that was the kind of thing that was coming to my mind. And then a lot of people, a lot of tag team matches are coming to mind, but there is, like, it's kind of funny because, like I'm like the top tag team I think of from AEW, which I know now you have a different thing. I love Finn Juice also. Finn Juice is awesome, but you know what? I'm gonna say that's gonna be my one.
Okay.
Finn Juice versus Pretty Deadly.
Oh my god. Pretty juicy reunion, baby.
now they're fighting each other.
Oh, brilliant. Okay.
You love Pretty Juicy.
It was so good. It was so good. Okay, let's see. Indra Cool asks, could we see Ray or Xander's version of the Cena heel turn? There's a year of John Cena left, is all I will say on that, but obviously we don't spoil our plans. Okay, everyone's asking our favorite matches.
I like how Cena's literally less than 6 months away from actually retiring, and we're like, no! What? Yeah!
No, I mean, it's just because we're like 5 months behind the real life WWE is what
I
it
know.
is. But yeah, no. So a lot of people are asking us our favorite matches from Mania. We'll get to that in a minute for everyone's asking that. JT asks a question I feel like you're going to have no opinion on, which is, Ray, how do you feel about the fall of LAW and the BCW invasion angle falling short?
I feel you should probably schedule an appointment with a doctor.
I
I don't know how BCW gets into your system, but it sounds like an awful thing to deal with.
Zach also asks, is G1 a possibility with you doing All Japan?
No.
Yeah, no, that's too much work.
I will say, this is a little preview for you guys. How I'm going to do the indies, to break down my idea for it, is essentially I'm going to do 3 small episodes building to one big event and that's essentially going to function as a tour.
Yeah.
So All Japan's going to have an All Japan tour. There's going to be AAA tours, and the All Japan tour, the first All Japan tour, will be the Emerald Classic,
Okay.
which is going to be in a 8-man round robin tournament. I actually am going to do this.
I believe in you.
I'm going to do this. I've wrote it out how I'm going to do this. Because it was a process figuring it out.
Oh yeah.
Like,
While you're looking for the notebook, can I tell people?
I'm looking for my notebook. I'm looking for my wallet because there is literally a folded up piece of paper in there that has the entire tournament written on it.
That's what I mean. Is while you're looking for those notes, I might have the picture actually.
Okay,
You sent it to me on Discord.
No, don't show the people.
I'm not going to show it.
Yeah, but it's an absurd amount of matches.
I was going to say I was going to find the picture and forward it to you so that you could read it off.
Yeah.
If you wanted me to.
I mean, wait, I have them. I have it on my Google Notes.
Oh, there you go. Can I tell the people? I won't spoil anything for AAA, but can I tell the people one thing you have in your notes for AAA?
Sure.
So Ray sends me a picture of his notes for AAA of like the people that are going to be involved in how we determine the first mega champion. And it's like name. Sai, El Grande o Masacano. Like it's asterisks like RPing Sai, El Grande o Masacano. And I confront him about this, and I'm cackling about it. He goes, "Yes, I'm gonna do blank, 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 blank with him. That way we can put this whole mess behind us." I'm like, mess? This is one of the most over fucking things I've done in months. And I think it's because it's so much more absurd than El Grande Americano is.
So actually, if the people wanted, I tell people this. Like if we can get some of these ties broken, I will give you guys the full first All Japan card right here, right now. I will give you the card for AJPW Arrival, which is going to be our
one tie is already broken. I'm scrolling through to see if the others have broken. It's looking like there are no ties. Hold on, let me get the rest of the way through and I'll tell you for sure. Okay, there's only, looks like one currently.
All right, guys, if we can get someone
Two.
to go through it. 2. Okay, this is quickly falling apart. 3. Oh, god damn it.
No,
4.
It's just two. Upset of the year and AEW pay-per-view of the year. There's currently a tie between exactly what you'd expect for AEW pay-per-view of the year and tie for upset of the year.
Our 2 biggest shows, my biggest show. Yep, okay.
Superstar of the year got broken by 1 vote for someone that I won't say, that way it's not spoiled when we get there.
Okay, so if we can break these 2 ties, I will give you guys the AJPW Arrival card.
Okay. In the meantime, we'll answer this question. This is actually a pretty interesting question from JT. He asks, if we have decided to do the brand versus brand nonsense for Survivor Series, how would we have agreed on who was going to win each match? And who would have won between Raw and SmackDown?
So what happens is, Zander and I pick 5 weapons apiece. Location and time and starting area.
No, what would have happened is it would have been like fucking Forbidden War, where we're both too nice to each other. They're like, no, you can win, it's fine. No, your guys can win, it's all right. And then would have just fucking been a tie, like the first Forbidden War.
It would have been and that's kind of the thing. Like, it was kind of bullshit, like when you thought about it at first. But that one year where Raw just dominated everybody, I'm like, well, at least it's different. Like,
right. And then Raw just won every year for the most part.
Yeah.
The only year Raw
Or the
didn't
year
win was the
NXT
year
won.
NXT won.
Yeah.
And that was essentially just being like, please watch NXT instead of AEW. But yeah, okay. So I will talk about my favorite. I completely forgot to talk about my favorite things with the Indies because we got onto other things. So I'll talk about my favorite things with LAW and stuff real quick. Because LAW was just a fucking wild ride this year to do for the year it was around. Like it came in right at the end of last. I want to say it was like right at the end of last season or the start of this season. I don't remember the exact date it started. But like it started, with Carnold and Scott Steiner against Matt Cardona and Brian Myers, and it had the return of Ryback, which was just me giving the fucking "we want Ryback" people what they want because of course I did. Um, and then everyone was like, ugh. Those same people that were like, we want Ryback. You should put Ryback in the LS11 universe. Bring back Ryback. As soon as I have, they're like, ugh. Why'd you bring back Ryback? It's like you people don't know what you want. You don't know what you want, you jackasses. But yeah. Anyways, the people that want like we want Ryback, we want Ryback. I gave them that, but it was just a fucking wild year, especially introducing all the LS11 originals because like we had Alexander Blackstone becoming unironically one of the most over heels I've ever created as an original character. In part because he was linked to my kayfabe twin sister character, my created wrestler sister character, and then he dumped her live on television a few months ago. She's still not back because of it. Um, I realized we didn't even really. Well, we pretty much answered without answering, saying we would have just both been like, no, you can win, you can win. And it would have just been we would have picked whichever person needed the win the most. Like, we were going into it with who we had as champions yesterday. Bronson Reed would have beat Dom in the IC versus US match, obviously.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. But like world champion versus world champion, it's like would have been going in Drew versus Champa. We would have somehow wonked that finish for one of them to cheat and beat the other.
Yeah.
But yeah, all of that being said, I had a lot of fun with the indies this whole season. It was a lot of fun. There was a lot of nonsense. I got to be, I got to do a full character arc for myself, which was something I didn't expect. And people actually got behind me instead of hating me, which was I'm not used to that. I'm not used to you guys making that cheering noise when I'm on screen as a wrestler and not booing the absolute shit out of me because I had the audacity to not be Ray. Um,
Close to me.
for whatever that's about. I got to do the stuff with Aaron Steve. Like I got to just feud with people I would have actually wanted to feud with in real life if I was a wrestler. Like I got to do the Aaron Stevens stuff. I got to fucking wrestle Chris Jericho at a show named after me. Like I got to live the dream vicariously through a game, and people were actually behind me with it, which I was not expecting. So I can't complain too much about what we got with the indies this season. And ultimately, I will say probably the most fun thing for me on the indies. I really liked getting to do Bayside Beatdown with Sabrina Carpenter in my corner a few weeks ago, and more stuff like that's going to keep happening. Like the indies are gonna, my indies at least, and Ray's are welcome to be part of it as well. Are gonna have like these big crossover events every few months, like Bayside Beatdown, Xandermania, obviously, stuff like that. That have
No.
stuff to do with the overall indies that like just are mainly the top titles getting defended, or like indie versus indie matches and stuff like that.
I haven't asked you yet. I haven't asked you yet, but like, you're welcome to bring people in. I am doing AJPW Triple A Worlds Collide.
Oh hell yeah.
You know,
That'll be
NXT's
fun.
probably going to be involved too.
Naturally. TNA might have some appearance there.
No,
Where it's like,
the
oh,
more
my yeah. Let's see. I'm going through and I'm checking to see if any of the ties have been
like
broken up.
literally standing there like holding DPW like it's a cold body or it's like, please just let it in. One match. It's so cold.
I don't even know much about DPW. I just did it because we have the belt and I knew people would be excited about it. I made Hanzo the champion, for fuck's sake. Like, but yeah, no. All that being said, yeah, no, it's been a fun season. But I guess favorite WrestleMania matches. I guess. Well, I'll give one from each night for myself. If you want to do the same, or you can do multiple. For me, night one, it was probably It's either the Shield match or the Jordan and Rhea match. If I'm twisting my arm, I'm going to say Jordan and Rhea. And then for night 2, it was Kevin and Johnny all the way. That was like Kevin Johnny was my vote for feud of the year. It's one of the few times I voted for my own thing.
Yeah. For night 1. Okay. Think about it. Well, for sleeper picks, I would actually say I rather enjoyed Gunther and Danielson for here
Oh,
match
that's a good one.
because I really like doing that, and like it was kind of funny how that came together because you had said you needed something for Danielson to do, like you needed like a goal for Danielson to accomplish. And I think at the time you were debating it being Ring of Honor that him doing.
So what it was, Ring of Honor was the contingent late at night. Like late at night, me and Pierre were in the creative team. And I was like, oh man, wouldn't it be really cool if I had Danielson chase the NWA title and that be like his career goal? And I was like, I would have to ask Ray for that. I don't want to make plans for his title. And then suddenly I hear the bloop, and your little face pops up on Discord. You can do Danielson winning the NWA title.
Yeah, and then I texted you. I was like, okay, I'm fine with Danielson winning the title, but here's how I want to do it. And like you were super into it immediately just because like I was like, I don't want to do like just one match with him and Gunther. I want to do a series of matches.
Right.
And really kind of harken back to that old NWA style. So that was one of my favorites. Also, Bailey and Roxanne, their cage match.
Oh, that was fun. I really liked that one.
I really like doing that one also because we don't do cage matches a lot, and it was one of my favorite stipulations.
Yeah.
And I will say, like, cage matches have gotten better in the recent games. So the reason I do before is because they sucked, and so I never booked them. Now they're a lot easier to do, but I'm still used to never booking them. So
right.
That being said, I did book 2 this last season. I just forced Xander to do one. So
I did a couple.
Yeah.
Because I did the Rollins and Frazier one.
Yeah, now I'm talking about MJF and Swerve.
Yeah. I forgot about that. But yeah.
It's like, it's in the cage, and MJF is winning! You bearded fuck!
I love that you just call me a bearded fuck. Like, there's so many things you could make fun of. There's so many things you could make fun of. There's so many things you could make fun of.
I don't even say something that's an insult. I just state a fact.
I'm a bearded motherfucker, yeah.
Yeah, look at you with a beard.
Like, all 3 things are true. Like, I have a beard, and I have a wife, so obviously I'm a bit of a fucker. Like, and that's the weirdest I'll get about that. Anyways, yeah. So WrestleMania Night 2. Did you say what your favorite from that one was?
A little bit, because just to say this, because we didn't say this at the AEW thing, like with the MJF Swerve thing, you were gonna have Swerve win the match, and
I was, yes.
Clearly texted you. I was like, Xander, I know you haven't seen all this, but I'm telling you now, I'm like, it will kill MJF. He does not beat Swerve. Literally, the entire feud. Swerve has been upping MJF at every single turn. Like,
all right, Ray, the ties are broken. So if you want to give your WrestleMania Night 2 favorite match and then give the people the card.
Night 2, the triple threat.
Yeah, that fucking double Claymore, dude.
Like, you were looking at me when it happened. I remember because we made jokes about Ray and his ability to keep a match going a little too long. And when the double Claymore just happened, you gave me this look like, don't, I swear to God.
Yeah, pretty much.
It's not my main event, but it's a great ending for this main event. And if
It
you
was
ruin
such a
it,
good ending.
and if you ruin it, even though it's yours, I may never forgive you. But the triple threat, yeah, that was probably my favorite. And regarding you, I liked the Liv Becky match when we recorded it. Because I didn't tell you what I was gonna do, and that's why I was like,
Start fucking running away.
I was like, well, what's the one thing Liv has? Well, you can always try running away, I guess.
And then
And as I put in the chat, we must fight to run away.
yeah. And then, of course, I'm sure some people are going to want to know. So I guess let's briefly talk about it before you give the All Japan card. MJF, huh?
Yeah.
Like, I think the
Yeah.
only way to put it is similar to Jack Perry. I think the best statement you and I can give is, welcome to the era where who's on what roster in real life doesn't fucking matter anymore.
Yeah. Like, I know a lot of people were like, a lot of people were trying to call the ending of WrestleMania.
Oh, the whole time.
Cody's gonna win the belt, and then MJF is gonna cash in, and then MJF is gonna end his first night in WWE as the champion. No.
Yeah, there was literally one guy that was like, "Where's MJF?" After while Drew was holding the belt, and I was like, "Probably recovering from falling off a ladder barely an hour ago."
Probably recovering from jumping through one.
Right? That's the thing. It's like I feel like everyone forgets that the Money in the Bank winner doesn't miraculously become fully healed 20 seconds after winning the briefcase.
Yeah. Also, and then there's that, and then there's the fact that it's MJF, and why would he do that? Like, as a character, I'm just asking. Like, MJF is literally the worst, most opportunistic person to exist in wrestling since Edge. And
Right.
Ed does things always where he's fully fine and you are weak. So yes, there will come a moment where MJF walks out with that briefcase and cashes it in. Will he win the title? Who's to say? Track record, pretty good.
It's true, but we could always end up doing our first failed cash in. You never know.
We could always do a Sandow. So, and honestly, one day we probably will.
Oh yeah, it's gonna happen one day.
But
Like it's kind of got to.
yeah, Murphy's Law dictates it. So, who wants the card for AJPW Arrival?
Let me double check that we haven't regained a tie here. Going through everything, I'm looking so far good there. I'm kind of looking at the suspects and the ones that, I'm looking at the usual suspects and I'm looking at the ones that were super close to ties before to make sure that none of these last minute votes here have caused it to go up again. But I hope a lot of people appreciate the bonus vote at the end there, that you guys get to actually vote on what the next retro show is.
Yeah.
Which is really exciting. A shocking one is winning it right now, but I won't say what it is. Okay, looking good, looking good. I believe in Joe Hendry, but I believe in a lot of other things too. Let's see. That's not a tie. It's a very close one, but it's not a tie. That's not a tie. That's very close, but it's not a tie. All right, yeah, there are no ties.
All right. All right, guys. You ready?
I'm ready. Let's do it. Let's hear it.
All right. So at AJPW Arrival, it's just going to be a 5-match show. Just 5 matches. We're going to have as the opening match, Yo versus Hiromu Takahashi versus Taiji Ishimori versus Triple H Templario for the GHC Junior Heavyweight Championship. we're going to have the Bullet Club, and that's going to be represented by Gabe Kidd, Zack Sabre Jr., and a third guy. Ooh, third guy. And they're going to be facing Tanahashi, Yoshihashi, and Yuya Uemura. You're gonna Evil.
Oh boy.
Will be taking on Omos. So yes, Omos will be in JPW, people.
Hell yeah.
Kushida and Kevin Knight are going to be challenging Tomohiro Ishii and Taichi for the GHC tag team titles. And in the main event, for both the IWGP and heavyweight and IWGP Intercontinental Champions, the former champions will recognize the champions again on this night in a triple threat match. The last IWGP Intercontinental Champion Sonata will take on the last IWGP Heavyweight Champion Konosuke Takeshita. And then they will take on the third man, Minoru Suzuki, tonight for the unified IWGP Championship.
A lot of different brands right there. You got AEW's Takeshita, AEW's Kevin Knight in there, TNA's Taiji Ishimori, that's his name. Right? No.
Yeah, Taiji Ishimori.
Yeah, he's the Bullet Club guy, right?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, because I'll announce the Emergence card in a second. He's representing Bullet Club at Emergence as well.
Yeah.
I'll have to double check with you on who that third guy for Bullet Club is, because I have no idea. I don't think you've told me this yet, so
yeah.
I'll ask you off stream about that though. But yeah. All right, cool. I guess I'll now tell people what to expect at TNA Emergence because I got the graphics for that card done today.
All right.
Let me get that pulled up, and what I'll do is see if I could screen share it somehow. Just might as well do this, and then I turn off this. No, that's the wrong thing. I turn off the watch along border. See if I can. There we go, and then hold on a moment, everybody. Let me actually do this. Let me fade the screen to black for a second, just that way when I load up the screen share, it doesn't accidentally, show what I'm working on my desktop or something. That way it doesn't, spoil the graphic of who all got drafted for season 7 tomorrow. All right, hold on. Screen share. JPEG. All right, cool. So, coming up this weekend at TNA Emergence this weekend, the final LAW champion Ethan Ace battles Alexander Blackstone, who won the qualifier at Bayside Beatdown to crown the first TNA International Champion.
Okay.
Give it a second. The TNA Knockouts Tag Team Champions will be crowned as the Inspiration, return for the first time in almost 3 seasons to LS11 Universe, and take on 2/6 of the Circus of Chaos in the Quiz Queen and Gabriella Bennett. The TNA Knockouts Champion will be crowned as Nixon Newell, formerly Tegan Knox, who won a qualifying match on the shortly relived reboot, faces off with GCW Champion Shayna Baszler. Rhino will face a opponent of JBL's choice for the TNA Legends Championship. JBL, of course, running TNA, the show owner for TNA. I am just simply the director of authority. Myself and Ray, of course, team up to take on FTR for the NWA Tag Team titles.
And I'm telling you right now, they've had those titles for a really long time, but they ain't faced a team like us.
They sure haven't. As we know, Bullet Club's Zack Sabre Jr. faces the Nomad Bishop Dyer for the TNA World title. The X Division title will be on the line in a ladder match with Leon Slater, Mystico, Zach Parker, the final LAW Internet Champion, Bullet Club's Taiji Ishimori, the notorious JT Jason, and Cedric Alexander for that. And not featured it's going to be a multi-team match of some kind to be announced on the night of for the TNA tag team titles. And I say it that way because I quite honestly just don't know what I'm doing yet for that. Like, I know what team is winning the titles. I don't know how we're getting there. But there you go.
All
There's your
right.
card for Emergence. All right, we got one more vote that just came in. Let me double check that we didn't get a tie and don't need any tiebreakers first. And then we will be good to read off the results of the season 6 awards. And then I'll give a small preview for Raw for tomorrow, as best of one as I can, anyway.
Yeah.
Because, you know, I don't want to spoil who's coming to Raw, but some people might have some ideas. Okay. JT says, don't know how I earned my spot in that match, but I'm just happy to be included. Well, you know. Okay. It doesn't look like there's a way to turn off accepting responses now, but it's fine. Okay. We're going to work bottom to top this time. That way we can end it with Superstar of the Year like we always do without me having to dance around.
All right.
So, the LS11 Universe End of Year Awards for Season 6. I hope you guys are excited. I'm excited. I've got my laptop here with the awards on it. So, the bonus question, which was, what will be the first retro show of Season 7? There are no wrong answers. In dead last was SummerSlam 1992 at Wembley Stadium. Unfortunate. Tied second are Starrcade 1997 and WrestleMania 9.
Mm-hmm.
And with an overwhelming 46.7% of the vote, the next retro show will be a direct follow-up to the original retro series with WrestleMania 21. The original WrestleMania goes Hollywood.
Okay. All right.
All right. General Manager of the Year.
All right.
In joint third place are Seth Rollins as interim SmackDown General Manager,
Okay.
Bully Ray as NXT General Manager, and ZRC as LAW General Manager.
Okay.
In second place, with 26.7% of the votes, is Big E. And the winner, with 30% of the vote, obviously Shawn Michaels.
People love Shawn.
I mean, it makes sense. Like, it was one vote off between Shawn and Big E.
Yeah, but I was saying earlier that he was like the advantage of Shawn Michaels. I can just play him as an idiot. He can be serious at any time, but like he's like I said, if you guys go under Shawn Michaels on the website, you'll see he has a unique alignment among everyone else that pretty much describes exactly the vibe that Shawn Michaels puts out at any time.
Okay. Retro show of the year.
One of my favorite videos with all the videos, like of the NXT girls dancing all sexy to the music, and then Shawn comes in and he starts trying to shake it behind them.
I also like the one where each of them are going, "Hi, Shawn," and he has to guess who it is. And then it gets towards the end, and he's like, "I don't know." And it's Thea. She's like, "Hi, Shawn." I don't know. Ah! Oh, that's Thea. Okay. Retro show of the year. In third place, TNA Sacrifice 2008.
Oh, you love it.
In second place, WrestleMania 30.
Okay.
And the winner by a landslide with 43% of the vote, WrestleMania 32.
Okay.
I mean, that was the one that we had to do the most heavy lifting on. So,
yeah, I voted for 32. So
I was proud of that one.
yeah.
Other pay-per-view / special of the year. Anything outside of WWE and AEW.
Yeah.
In joint third place, Ring of Honor Supercard of Honor and the ARW 6-year anniversary show.
All right.
In second place, the World Cup 2 finals.
That was the one I voted for.
And in first place, with 46.7% of the vote, Xandermania 9.
All right.
So I'll take my first award of the night with that one. Not knock over my Sonic OC figure. I'll take my first award of the night with that one. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I feel like I'm going to keep this on hand just in case.
We need to like the Michael Scott like shelf of Dundies.
I need to go back and get like trophies made for every award I've won on this channel. But then I'd have so many because I won Commentator of the Year for like 5 years running, and so I didn't do it this year.
Yeah, you didn't win, or there wasn't like a choice.
I didn't do it this year because I was like, people hear my voice more, so it's not fair.
Yeah. Well,
When
this
you were a
season,
special occasion commentator and almost beating me every time, that was funny. But now it's 50-50. I'm like, I don't want either of us to feel bad.
you just don't want to know.
Yeah, pretty much. I almost lost a box office last year.
The box office, Brady Baxter, always stands ready to go.
All right, NXT Premium Live Event of the Year. In
All
third
right.
place, NXT versus TNA Worlds Collide, which was the end of TNA.
Okay.
In second place, Stand and Deliver.
Okay.
And the winner with 40% of the votes, NXT No Mercy.
That was the one I voted for.
That was where Joe won the belt. I was really proud of that one, so I'm glad that one won.
Well, No Mercy is kind of interestingly, both in real life and in our universe, has kind of become the biggest event NXT does most years.
Kind of feels like that. Like last year, we had Joe Hendry main eventing it in real life.
Yeah. It always seems like they really put like effort to make No Mercy a really big card to the point where No Mercy almost feels like the thing they're building to most times.
I was saying, and this year at No Mercy, Trick Williams won the TNA title from Joe, I think.
Yeah, they always do big stuff at No Mercy, which I'm not complaining, but like it's strange. But yeah, okay. So
right.
that's what I say.
All right, AEW pay per view of the year. In third place, Wrestle Dream, which was, I thought that was my first show after I took over. It was actually my second. World's End was my first.
Yeah.
In second place, there is a 1 vote difference on this one. All in London comes in second, and by 1 vote with 33.3%, Double or Nothing.
Okay.
That was a close one. I voted All In. I liked All In more than Double or Nothing.
Hmm.
Let's see. WWE Premium Live Event of the Year. This one's always a one-horse race, it feels like.
Okay. So well, what I'm interested because I don't think I think where I voted, I don't think most people would agree.
Same here. I did not vote for Mania. I will say that much.
Yeah.
Maybe
it's just such a big card and such a long event. It's just like I don't know, like, and don't get me wrong, I love WrestleMania, both doing it for the show and in real life. But like when it comes to like the wrestling shows, I really love. I like the smaller sort of stuff where the cards, where it feels like every match is like kind of building on itself.
All right, so tied third place, 4-way tie for third place. WrestleMania Night 1, Starrcade, December to Dismember, and Survivor Series War Games.
Okay.
Second place, Super Showdown Australia.
Okay.
And running away with it with over 33% of the vote, WrestleMania Night 2.
Wow.
All right.
So, my vote didn't even get in there.
What would you vote for?
I voted for Bash in Berlin.
Oh, that's a good one. I went with Super Showdown.
Because Bash in Berlin was I think it was probably my favorite, like, singular SmackDown pay-per-view I did this past season.
Yeah.
It was just, because it had Gunther beating Dustin in a really good match. You had Cody beating Ilya for the belt. It had Punk and...
was that Cody Ilya or was that Cody Ludwig?
No, that was Cody Ludwig. Thank you for reminding me. That was Cody Ludwig because... Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Cody Ludwig, and then it was that was also a great match. I loved that match.
It was.
And then you had obviously the Punk Cena stuff with the Drew reveal at the end, and that of course led to what we did with Drew and the whole thing with Survivor Series. And I think that might actually get ranked in a rivalry of the year, so I'm going to save that to it later. So.
All right. AEW debut / return of the year. In joint third is Thekla on the Dynamite after Double or Nothing, and Jeff Jarrett on Dynamite when he was revealed as commissioner. In second place, Samoa Joe's return at All In to beat up Jack Perry. And the winner was...
Everyone thought that. Like, yes! Yes! Kill him!
And then the winner with 30% of the vote was Bullet Baby Priestley's reveal when Jay White revealed her as his way to get to Will Ospreay.
Yeah.
Which makes sense. I was really proud of that reveal. All right, wow, this one was a one-horse race, and I think we all knew it.
Okay, what is it?
WWE debut / return of the year.
Okay.
A three-way tie for third place with only 6% of the vote each.
Okay.
Lucha Bros at the Rumble, the Demon King at WrestleMania Night 1, and the Forsaken on the Raw after SummerSlam.
Okay.
A three-way tie for second place with 10% each. Joe Hendry appearing at WrestleMania Night 1.
Okay.
Because, spoilers, that's his official main roster call-up if you couldn't figure that out.
Okay.
Buddy Murphy at Clash at the Castle Scotland.
Okay.
And Jack Perry at WrestleMania Night 1. Running the fuck away with it with 44% of the vote. MJF at WrestleMania Night 2.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Which honestly, like when you said I could have MJF, I was like, oh, I know this is exactly what I'm doing.
Yep. All right. AEW Breakout Star of the Year. Wow, this one was also a landslide. What the fuck?
Okay.
In third place, Julia Hart. That was my vote.
Okay.
In second place, Anna Jay. That was my thought was who was going to win it.
Okay. And in first place, Jeff Jarrett.
With 54% of the vote, Brody King was Breakout Star of the season.
Okay, that's fine.
All right, WWE Breakout Star of the season. There's a lot more color to this graph. Oh, fuck all of you! In third place, El Grande O Masacano. Fuck you! You fuckers. I put him on there as a joke.
What? Andrade Masacano Zander has been a long respected luchador.
Okay.
He has been one of the favorites in the hardcore circles for so long.
In tied second, Jimmy Uso and Lyra Valkyria.
Okay.
And the winner with 36% of the vote, Axiom.
Okay.
I'll actually go into a stat about Axiom in a minute. I want to tell everyone. I went through painstakingly. It took me 2 hours to do this. I went through everyone that wrestled this season and compiled all of their win-losses into a database and can now sort it by who had the most matches, the most wins, the most losses, the best percentage, and all that. So we'll get to that in a few minutes. Because I think it'll shock you. Promo of the year. Third place, Drew McIntyre calls John Cena a corporate sucker. Second place, from this week, the Johnny Gargano and Kevin Owens split screen interview where Johnny goes,
I remember that. I was on the corporate. You were like, Ray! And my immediately response was, I believed it.
But yeah, second place, earlier this week, or no, last week, the split screen Johnny Gargano, Kevin Owens interview where Johnny just ends it by going, Kevin, I'm going to fucking kill you.
Okay.
And then he did.
Yeah. And I number one was Jimmy's Crash Out, right?
No. What? Number one, the Zander Mania press conference, Zander Ramsey Carver tells Chris Jericho, I'm sorry I loved you. I did not deserve this. But thanks?
I thought for sure Jimmy's Crash Out was going to win Promo of the Year.
Same! Why did I win this? Like, yes, that was actually how I feel about Chris Jericho. However, I mean, my only thought with that
one. Mahershala Ali won the Oscar for Green Book.
Like, the only thing I can think of is Jericho quite, like, trigger warning everybody, Jericho quite literally makes reference to the fact I almost killed myself a few years ago in that promo, and I make the comment to Chris Jericho about how at least everyone likes me enough and respects me enough where no one feels the need to make up a story about signing an NDA about me. That's the only thing I can think is that I went that deep with it that people really like that promo or something. Like, Jesus. I did not deserve that one, but thanks. I'll take it. Upset of the year. Upset of the year should be Zander wins this award. But anyways, all right. Upset of the year. And I won with 30% of the vote for reference. Third place for upset of the year is Ilya Dragunov defeats Cody Rhodes and retains the United States title.
All right.
Second place is Axiom defeats Seth Rollins on Raw.
Okay.
And the winners with 23.3%, yeah, it makes sense. 23.3% of the vote, Omiz Akano win the Raw Tag Team titles from the Hardys. Yeah, I can see that one.
All right.
I went with Axiom beats Seth Rollins because Seth never loses. Miz loses all the fucking time. Miz is coming for Jinder's record. That's not even a joke. He is. All right. OMG moment of the year. In third place, the Armageddon Six-Way. Just all of it.
Okay.
What was your vote for upset of the year, I guess? Because mine was Seth Axiom.
Upset of the year. Mine was Lexus Cody.
Fair. But yeah. Second place, Cody Rhodes and CM Punk co-win the Royal Rumble.
Okay.
And, okay, actually, what I voted for won on this one. With 26.7% of the votes, Johnny Gargano attempts to murder Kevin Owens.
Which you didn't even put on the list originally.
Ray had to remind me of that one, yeah.
I was like, wait, why is it? I was like, Xander. He fell off the ladder through the ladder. I mean,
And then he got package pile drove on a ladder.
yeah. I mean, I kind of did my thing with Lash Legend being Soul Snatcher through a ladder.
That shit was insane, dude.
I literally, dude, I tested that. I was like, before I plan out the spot and like think I could do it and then find out I can't, I'm gonna set up everything.
Yeah, and like the funniest thing is, it's like Soul hit that ladder, and then 5 seconds later it was.
I know.
That was so good. But yeah, okay. Betrayal of the year. In third place, CM Punk low blows John Cena at SummerSlam.
All right.
In second place, Dominic Mysterio kicks Braun Steiner out of Next Wave, and Alexander Blackstone kisses Casey Styles and divorces Eliza Blackstone live on LAW. Ray's just like, I don't know who the fuck any of these people are, but okay.
I know who they are. I'm just. Jerry.
R.I.P. Jerry. And, alright, the winner of this one, because I actually went with, what did I go with for Betrayal of the Year, actually? I can't remember. I went with Nathan and Liv as my vote, but that one, I was the only one, it looks like. But the most shocking betrayal of the year to everyone was Jimmy Uso refusing to acknowledge Roman Reigns. Funniest moment of the year. In third place, let me double check this is not a tie. In third place, MJF pays Trevor Phillips from Grand Theft Auto to drive Swerve's car into the ocean. Yeah, that was pretty good. I reinstalled GTA the night I recorded that to do that. In tied second place, El Grande Omasacano debuts, and everyone thinks he's Omos. And Joe Hendry's Higher concert throws shade at Buddy Murphy, Rhea Ripley, and Xander. Still don't think I deserved that stray, but whatever. And the funniest moment of the season... Oh, for God's sake. The funniest moment of the season, this was my vote too, because this was funny for me to record, was the LAW promo. But finally, at last, there is no one here that is one of my mortal enemies getting my way. Allow me to beg your indulgence. Fuck!
Yeah.
So, thank you. Again, thank you. Thank you very much. Don't deserve it, but thanks.
How many have you won at this point?
I'm up to 3. I'm up to 3, and I'm a nominee for number 4 here.
No, across the board. How many do you think have won the 6 seasons?
Oh God, I could look tonight. I'll look tonight, and I'll tell you by the end. I'll tell you by the end of the stream.
I think it's probably like something like what, like close to like 10, 12.
Got to be about 12 by now, because this is number 4. This is number 3. I might be about to win number 4. I don't know. I've got to look at the numbers here. on this one. But up next is
Like you get all of them lined up. You and Alex arguing one day. It's like you won the 4 times LS11 year-end award winner.
all right. Other rivalry of the year. Is any rivalry outside of WWE or AEW?
Okay.
In third place, joint third place, ZRC versus Chris Jericho. Thank God. And Joe Hendry versus Mustafa Ali.
Okay.
In second place, Bryan Danielson versus Gunther. And in first place with 30% of... For fuck's sake!
What?
With 30% of the vote, the winner of Rivalry of the Year is ZRC versus Aaron Stevens. Thank you and good night. Stop voting for me! AEW Rivalry of the Year.
Okay.
In third place, Will Ospreay versus the Cult of the White Witch.
To be fair, though, when you make outside promotion rivalry of the year, and then you put yourself in half of those promotions,
I mean, two of them. I mean, 2 out of 5 options.
Yeah.
6. 2 out of 6.
No, but when you do that, you kind of open yourself up to nomination.
That's fair. Okay.
And I'm pretty sure you'll be winning that next year.
Probably.
So,
Seeing as you know what one of my big feuds heading into next year is, probably.
yeah.
All right. AEW Rivalry of the Year. In third place, Will Ospreay versus the Cult of the White Witch. In second place, Hangman Page versus the Bullet Club. And the winner, with 46.7% of the vote, Swerve versus MJF.
All right.
All right.
We got it for last glory for AEW.
Hell yeah. That was my vote. I fucking love that feud.
Yeah.
Like, I jumped the shark a little bit with it, but you know.
I mean, I blew up a building and called the episode Shark Jumped.
That's true. That's true.
That might be my favorite title of an episode I've done.
And then the description is just C title. All right. WWE Rivalry.
Pretty deadly yelling up towards the skies. Just
All right. WWE Rivalry of the Year. In third place, Seth Rollins versus the Final Testament.
Okay.
In second place, Roman Reigns versus Jimmy Uso. And the winner, okay, yep, you know what? This is the only thing that could have beaten it. With 37% of the vote, Johnny Gargano and Kevin Owens.
All right.
That was a season-long thing. I get it. That was my vote, too. Roman Jimmy, it was close for me with that and Roman Jimmy.
Okay.
I was firing on all cylinders with stories this year on Raw. All right. Other match of the year. There's a 3-way tie for second or for third. The GCW Clusterfuck, Team Zander versus Team Aaron in War Games, and Seth Rollins versus Buddy Murphy as the World Cup 2 finals are the 3-way tie for third. Seth Rollins versus Kenny Omega for the World Cup 2 semifinals is second. And with 43% of the vote, give it up for your other match of the year, Zander versus Chris Jericho at Zander Mania. That's 6 tonight. That match was just Roman. That was just, we have Roman and Cody from WrestleMania 40 at home.
Zander, maybe it's time to be like Laurence Olivier.
Okay.
Laurence Olivier won so many acting awards. He took himself out of consideration for anything else in the future.
Yeah, I might need to do that.
He was like, don't nominate me because I won't be coming to the ceremony. So he literally just stopped showing up. They kept nominating him.
Other match of the, or AEW match of the year.
You want to know the funny thing now?
What's that?
Now the British equivalent to an Oscar is an Olivier.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
All right. AEW match of the year. Joint third place is Darby Allin versus MJF at World's End, and Swerve versus MJF versus Will Ospreay at All in London.
Okay.
Second place is Will Ospreay versus Kenny Omega versus Kazuchika Okada versus Swerve Strickland versus Hangman Page versus Jay White at Full Gear.
Okay.
And the winner, with 43.3% of the vote, fucking of course it is, as it should be, Bryan Danielson versus Gunther at Wrestle Dream.
All right.
WWE Match of the Year. All right. In third place, excuse me. In third place, Kevin Owens versus Johnny Gargano, WrestleMania Night 2. In second place, Rhea Ripley versus Jordynne Grace, WrestleMania Night 1. And match of the year for WWE with what's that percentage say there? With just under 23% of the vote, CM Punk versus Cody Rhodes versus Drew McIntyre in the main event of WrestleMania.
All right.
All right, we're getting into the actual people of the year now. I swear to God, I'm up for nomination on one of these. I swear to God, people. I better not be other wrestler of the year. NXT Tag Team of the Year. In third place, The Rascals.
All right.
In joint second place, Speedball Mountain and The Vanguard. And with 36.7% of the votes, the tag team of the year for NXT is not even a team anymore, The North. But in all fairness, like, you kind of had to rebuild NXT's tag division out of the rubble, and they were on top for a while. So,
yeah.
All right. AEW Team of the Year. In third place, The Undisputed Kingdom. In second place, The Cult of the White Witch. And with 36.7% of the vote, the AEW Team of the Year is FinJuice / Bullet Club. Juice Robinson finds a way to do it again. Oh yeah, baby. Rock hard. Wow, okay, this one's a landslide. And what the hell? Hold on.
What?
Premiere just pulled up over everything weirdly. Okay, I'm good now, I think. Oh, shit.
What?
My father has opened up Adobe on his computer and chosen to sign my desktop out rather than my laptop. So all of my Adobe apps are closing is what's happening.
Oh, fun.
Fun times to be ZRC today. Anywho, WWE Women's Tag Team of the Year. This one is a landslide. It's not even funny. In third place are the Sky Pirates.
All right.
Joint second, Fatal Influence and Jordynne Grace and Stephanie Vaquer.
Okay.
And the winners with 63.6% of the vote, Rhea Ripley and Cora Jade. It makes sense, but oh my god, that's a landslide. All right. WWE Men's Tag Team of the Year. Fuck all of you. In joint third, the Motor City Machine Guns, the Final Testament, and they don't know how they're here, but somehow O-Miz / O-Miz Akano, which are counted as one, because Miz is the central point of both of them, and it's just Miz and his bodyguard. He's just swapped out Omos for Omos Akano.
All right.
In second place, joint second, are the Judgment Day and the Forsaken. And with 33 1/3% of the vote, 33 1/3% of the vote, my pick as well, because my god, do they deserve this. Imperium, our tag team of the year for WWE. And I'm seeing in chat people got ads during the women's one. Rhea and Cora won women's tag team of the year. Okay. Indie / other superstar of the year, and I swear to God if my name is the winner of this one. In third place, Keith Lee. In joint second place, Chris Danger. Oh my god, and me. I'm second place. Cool. Good.
Okay.
The Indie Superstar of the Year with 23.3% of the... Oh, go fuck yourselves. It's Carnold. The only person they'll vote for over me is Carnold.
Oh, okay.
Carnold's Indie Superstar of the Year, because of fucking course he is. I hate it here. Okay. Now on to the bread and butter. The final six. The men and women of each show for the year.
Okay.
The NXT Female Superstar of the Year. In third place, Jordynne Grace.
All right.
In second place, Sol Ruka.
Okay.
And my pick, as well as apparently 36.7% of the fans' pick, Fallon Henley is NXT Female Superstar of the Year. Makes sense.
She dominated the early half. Yeah. All
Yeah.
right.
All right. AEW Female Superstar of the Year. With 10%
Okay.
of the vote, Mercedes Moné. With
She literally had the longest reign with that belt, and I realize it's all my fault.
It is.
But
It is your fault. With
you were
16.7%.
literally asking me so often. You were like, Ray, she's gonna break so many records. Please don't do this.
Right. I was like, do not let her break Cody or Rhea or Joe's record. I will get angry. Okay. With 16.7% of the vote, B. Priestley. And
Okay.
running away with it with 56.7% of the vote, the AEW Woman of the Year is Anna Jay.
Okay.
As it should be. WWE Female Superstar of the Year. Well, Ray, in a year where Liv Morgan had a breakout year, Tiffany Stratton had a breakout year, Lyra Valkyria killed it, Candice LeRae was on top, we saw the arrival of Jordynne Grace, you already know where this is going. In third place, Liv Morgan with 13.3, Tiffany Stratton with 20% of the votes, you horny fucking bastards. For the 5th season in a row, Rhea Ripley is Female Superstar of the Year. I voted for Tiffany. This is the first year I didn't vote for Rhea.
Like, I literally, you want to know the dark ram thing about? I'm like, we could literally injure Rhea Ripley at the beginning of the season, have her be injured for a majority of it, and if she came back in the last 2 months, she still would probably win Female Superstar of the Year.
Yep. You horny fucking bastards. I didn't even vote for her this year. I always vote for her.
I know we keep watching the Nina Drama video, just wanting to be Nina Drama being choked out.
NXT Men's Superstar of the Year.
Okay.
A two-way tie for third place between Javon Evans and Ron Killings. In second place with only 13% of the vote, Oba Femi. And running
Joe Hendry Randall.
running the fuck away with it with 66 and 2/3% of the vote. Say his name and he appears. I believe in Joe Hendry. Is NXT Superstar of the Year. It makes sense that he was on top the whole year.
I won't even embarrass you by doing it better.
Shut up. Fuck you. All right. AEW Men's Superstar of the Year. Three-way tie for third place between Swerve, MJF, and Jay White.
Okay.
In second place, Brody King. And the winner with 40% of the vote, as it should be if you ask me, Will Ospreay.
Yeah.
This one was the one we had a four-way tie for until the very last few minutes of voting.
Okay.
I voted Kevin Owens because I thought he had the run of a career this season. Kevin Owens is not even in third place.
Okay.
In third place, CM Punk.
He was champion for a majority of the season.
In tied second place, Season 4's Superstar of the Year, Cody Rhodes, and Season 5 Superstar of the Year, Johnny Gargano.
Okay.
And about damn time, I would say, the Season 6 Superstar of the Year, with 26.7% of the vote, is Drew McIntyre. About fucking time.
Yep.
We didn't do awards in Season 1. He probably would have won in Season 1 if we did.
Yeah, I was sitting here like, I thought Drew and Cena would be high up on the rivalries one.
I did too.
Yeah.
But yeah, so
I'm not
quickly recap it. Oh, go ahead.
Go and recap.
Okay, yeah. So let me let Photoshop close out here real quick so I can fucking reload it. Thanks, Dad. Hold on. Fucking could have texted me to ask which one to sign out the first time you open fucking Adobe in like 3 months, and it's while I'm midstream. Fucking jackass. I love my father, but he's a jackass. Anyways, so to do a quick recap for everybody, the next retro show will be WrestleMania 21. I'll get right on that one. Ray and I'll get it booked in a couple days here. I'll get it done in a couple weeks. Shawn Michaels was GM of the year. WrestleMania 32 was Retro Show of the Year. Xandermania was the other special of the year. No Mercy won for NXT for the year. Double or Nothing was AEW Show of the Year. WrestleMania Night 2, WWE Show of the Year. B. Priestley won AEW Debut of the Year. MJF won WWE Debut of the Year. Brody King is AEW Breakout Star of the Year. Axiom's WWE Breakout Star of the Year. Me telling Chris Jericho, I'm sorry, I loved you, and going on my full promo about him was Promo of the Year. Omizakano winning the tag team titles, the upset of the year. Johnny Gargano attempting to kill Kevin Owens today was OMG Moment of the Year. Jimmy Uso refusing to acknowledge Roman Reigns was Betrayal of the Year. Allow me to beg your indulgence. Fuck! Was Funniest Moment of the Year. Me versus Aaron Stevens was the Indie Feud of the Year. MJF and Swerve was AEW Feud of the Year. Johnny and KO was WWE Feud of the Year. Me and Chris Jericho was Indie Match of the Year. Bryan Danielson Gunther was AEW Match of the Year. Cody, Punk, and Drew in the main event was WWE Match of the Year. The North were NXT Tag Team of the Year. Finn Juice were AEW Tag Team of the Year. Judgment Day, Rhea Ripley and Cora Jade were Women's Tag Team of the Year. Imperium were Men's Tag Team of the Year for WWE. Carnold was Indie Star of the Year because of course he was. Fallon Henley was NXT Women's Star of the Year. Anna Jay was AEW Women's Star of the Year. Rhea Ripley was WWE Women's Star of the Year. Joe Hendry was NXT Star of the Year. Will Ospreay was AEW Star of the Year. And Drew McIntyre is WWE Superstar of the Year. Fucking woo!
All right.
All right, so final things I want to acknowledge here, just to go over them super quickly. I want to give just some fun little stats real quick from the season.
Okay.
I want to tell you who had the most matches. I want to tell you who had the most wins, the most losses, the best win-loss ratio, and the worst win-loss ratio.
Okay.
So, funny enough, these first three are all the same person. The most matches of the year belongs to Axiom with 50. He wrestled 50 matches in 53 weeks.
Okay.
He won 31 of those. That is the most wins of the year. Joe Hendry at 29 is the second most, I believe. Hold on, let me double check that. So, most matches of the year, I'll give the top three for each. Axiom with 50 is the most matches of the season. Joe Hendry with 41 is the second most. And Nathan Frazier with 36 is the third most matches of the year. Austin Theory one off from joining that at 35. Least matches of the year, a lot of people only wrestled once this season.
Okay.
The most wins of the year, I already spoiled who had the most.
I have the most matches in this year, though.
What was that?
They were all Raw stars. Who had the most SmackDown matches?
Okay, let me see here.
I know because I don't track it, so I'm like, who did I book the most?
Ilya Dragunov wrestled 30 matches.
That was my guess. I booked Ilya a lot.
Obafemi, he's NXT, but Obafemi wrestled 29 matches.
Okay.
Here, I'll give you guys the top ones here for others wondering. Austin Theory wrestled 35. Lola Vice wrestled 32. Rhea and Ilya wrestled 30. Randy Orton, Obafemi, Tommaso Ciampa all wrestled 29 matches each.
Okay.
Sol Ruca wrestled 28. Jordan Grace, Cody Rhodes, and Alexander Hammerstone wrestled 27 matches each this season.
Okay.
So Cody and Ilya are two of your big ones there. Johnny Gargano,
Nice.
Jeff Hardy, Bronson Reed, Pete Dunne, Nick Aldis, Chelsea Green all wrestled 26 matches this season.
All right.
And then Chad Gable, Tyler Bate, and Omos had 25 each. I'll just go down to 20.
I like how I have that one straight singular Pete Dunne singles match.
Yeah.
Literally, I did for some reason did one singles match. Literally, and after that, Tyler Bate and Pete Dunne, they all pretty much all the matches they wrestled with one another from there.
Okay, Kevin Owens, AJ Styles, Piper Niven, Braun Steiner, Fallon Henley, Alexa Bliss, Ethan Page, and Drew McIntyre all wrestled 24 matches each.
Okay.
Liv Morgan, Tiffany Stratton, Matt Hardy, Moose, Karrion Kross, Damian Priest, Tama Tonga, Andrade, Nikita Lyons, Frankie Kazarian, all wrestled 23.
Okay, so 20. So yeah, once every 2 weeks is pretty much the average.
Yeah, and then there's only a couple for these next ones. People who wrestled 22 matches this season are Jacob Fatu, Wesley, and The Miz.
Okay.
21 is Will Ospreay, Gunther, Roxanne Perez, Montez Ford, Carmelo Hayes, LA Knight, yeah, Chris Danger, Matt Cardona, Seth Rollins, Javon Evans, or no, Matt Cardona is the last one with 21, and the final ones we'll talk about with 20 are Seth Rollins, Javon Evans, Carlito, and Rey Mysterio.
It's impressive Seth Rollins got to 20, considering he spent more than half the season out.
I started booking him like that when I got him.
You're like, every card.
Pretty much, yeah. I mean, he wrestled
go.
twice this weekend alone.
I know.
And in case you were wondering, CM Punk wrestled 19 times this season, so he just barely missed out.
Yeah, that tracks.
Okay, most wins this season. Axiom has 31 wins. Joe Hendry with 29.
Okay.
Rhea Ripley with 28. I'll go down
Okay.
to 20 for each one, is where I'll cut it for each one.
Okay.
Nathan Frazier has 25 wins this season.
Okay.
Austin Theory has 22.
All
Ilya
right.
Dragunov, Obafemi, Randy Orton, and Jordan Grace each have 21.
Okay.
And Cody Rhodes has 20.
Ooh.
So Axiom wrestled the most matches, and therefore he has the most wins. He also has the most losses, and I'll go to 12. Kind of seems to be the average for losses here. So Axiom also has the most losses with 19 because he wrestled so many matches. And he's one of those guys that doesn't take much damage if he loses. That's part of why he loses so much. Rey Mysterio has 18 losses this season.
Okay.
And he only wrestled 20 matches. Whoops, my bad. Omos has 17 losses this season. Lola Vice,
Right.
Chelsea Green, Nikita Lyons, and Carlito have 16. Nick Aldis, Andrade, The Miz, Miles Bourne have 15. Damian Priest, Tama Tonga, Zelina Vega, and Andre Chase have 14. Tommaso Ciampa, AJ Styles, Cruz del Toro, Joaquin Wilde, Duke Hansen, Brooks Jensen, and Brooks Jensen have 13. And then Joe Hendry, Austin Theory, Alexander Hammerstone, Wesley, Matt Cardona, Izzy Dame, Jada Parker, Santos Escobar, Tavion Heights, and Wolfgang have 12. The best win-loss percentage of the season, FTR are 6-0 in Season 6.
Okay.
Dijak is 3-0 in Season 6, as is Scott Steiner.
All right.
Yeah, 3-0, that makes sense. Yeah, Scott Steiner's 4-0 this season, my bad. And then Hikaru Shida is 2-0, and then people who are 1-0, for people wondering, I'll speedrun that one, are Mr. Iguana, Rocky Romero, Thekla, Trent Beretta, Harley Cameron, Kylan King, Gabe Kidd, Layla Gray, Blue Kane, El Hijo de Dr. Wagner Jr., Xander number 5, Santino Marella, and Arnold Schwarzenegger. What a fucking list. And losses, people who didn't win a single match this season. I'm not going to list everyone who only had one match and lost it this season, obviously. I think 5 will be my cutoff here. The 2 people who lost the most this season with no wins are Meechin and Eddie Thorpe. Wrestled 11 times, didn't win any of them. Noam Dar, Deanna Perrazzo, and Mark Coffey each wrestled 9 times and lost every time.
Okay.
And then Zoe Stark, Jake Something, Riley Osborne had 8 matches and lost each one. Lash Legend, Cedric Alexander, Joe Coffey, and Mara Sade, formerly Jakara Jackson, 7 losses each. Akira Tozawa, Apollo Crews, Kiana James, Isaiah Cassidy, Mark Quinn, Serena Deeb, and Eric Young had 6 losses. And then Nyla Rose, Big Bill, and Carmella have 5 losses each.
This is so riveting, Xander. Just hearing you just go off about all these stats.
Fuck you.
I'm sure so many people just want to hear you go up about Rich Holland's average statistical ways of universe mode.
Hey, that was my last one, jackass. I feel like people were interested in hearing the stats of the season.
I feel like people are interested in the top stats, but you gave like deep overviews there.
Dude, I spent 2.5 hours doing this. Let me have this. It took me 2.5 hours to go through our full website and recap all fucking 456 people that had matches this season. Not even counting people who didn't. Excuse me. Not even counting people who have been like erased from LS11's record books because they're not going to show up again.
Any last questions from the people?
All right, last call for questions. We're going to wrap up here because I got to finish Raw. And Ray probably has stuff to do too, so I don't want to take too much of his time tonight either.
You know, new season of Sandman's out. Been watching that.
Nice. Yeah. All right, folks. Last call for questions. Ring, 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 ring. Ringing the bell. Last call for questions.
You can ask us deeply personal things. We don't care.
I care sometimes.
Literally, it's like a scene out of The Room. Like, anyway, like it's like, I wonder what's wrong with them. Anyway, how's your sex life?
Yeah, it's like what it's like talking to JT. You laugh. That's not even a joke. That is what it's like being friends with JT.
And I know I'm laughing because I remember when I told you about The Room, but now I'm like, you didn't sound amused by it, but I was literally amusing myself. I think I'm like, this is what would happen if Zander made a movie.
Okay, that's a little rude, KJ. His question is, how did Ray's call come out looking like a fat Howard Stern? That's a little rude way of putting it. It came out looking the way it did because I need to use a different face template for it. But that outfit is something Ray has legitimately worn before.
Yeah.
Like, come on now. Calling him fat's a little rude.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, he's apologized, so. Yeah, I do need to touch
I was
up.
about to say something.
Okay.
I was about to say a smart ass response that would be really rude, but not proper.
It's all right. Yeah, just maybe fat jokes aren't the best way to go, but thank you for apologizing. But anyway, yeah, no, I need to edit Ray's created wrestler and give it a different face before we record, before we do our tag match with FTR this weekend. But yeah, Pierre asks, what are we both looking the most forward to season 7 that we can actually talk about without spoiling anything? For me, like I said, you guys are going to get to see the magnum opus of stories for me this season.
I sent Xander what I...
Dude. 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 Anyways. Yeah, no. For me this season, I'm excited that you guys kind of get to see my magnum opus of stories coming to be. And I think that tomorrow on Raw is genuinely the best draft week of Raw I've ever done.
Okay.
What about you?
This season, looking forward to getting started on my own indies. Looking forward to the streamlined stuff we're doing. And just looking forward to seeing how the season shakes out, you know?
Yeah, don't forget Ray, since you can do your own thumbnails now. I finally sent Ray the file. The ball was in my court on that one for a while. I just kept forgetting.
Yeah.
Don't forget to change the upper right corner to say season 7.
Yeah. But all right, guys.
I guess that's gonna wrap it up. Everyone's kind of filing out anyway, so.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I will see you all tomorrow for Raw and the Raw watch along for real life. And all right.
You'll see me when you see me.
Yep. Fucking.
You'll hear me a lot, but you'll see me when you see me.
Welcome to season 7.
All right.
Let's do it. Bye, everybody.